She walks it loud like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies, her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, like the intro ended, but I was still typing back to Daryl, and it's like, should I finish my comment or should I just ditch the comment and come on the screen and just verbally say it? I never know what to do. But hi, how is everyone? Hi, Daryl. Thank you, Nicole, for 5 months. Thank you, Jessica, for 6 months. I've missed you all. We've missed you. You need me to write you a song for your channel? Yeah, I do. You know what? I don't know, does it? I'm not a Scorpio. I'm a Sagittarius. Why? Does it say Scorpio? I don't pay that close attention. If it says Scorpio, I mean, you want to write me a song? Please do. Please do. Hi, Justin. Hi, MK. Triple L, Harlot, Curious Christine, K Braze, Tony. How is everybody? Okay. Sorry, I was reading something. Yeah, hi, Sags Unite. That it reminds me of like inappropriate though, because Sags sounds a little bit weird if you don't have the context, you know? Hi, Shay with a Y. Hi, Katrina. You know what? I'm not sleepy. My head hurts. It's, like it's been go today. But I'm so happy to be here. You are, Callie? How many Sagittariuses do we have? Daryl, what are you? You so punny. Are we gonna get an eyebrow mode? You know what's so funny, Triple L? I just saw someone else whose eyebrow was questionable. What's up with like the one questionable eyebrow. Now, let me be clear. Hi, in my opinion, let me be clear. My eyebrows are not twins. They're not even sisters. They're like distant relatives. But it sure as hell isn't like just one is gone. One is, you know, what's up? You're a Gemini? Ah, Gemini. So is my spawn. You're a Gemini too? See, I don't know the compatibility. I know Geminis are compatible with Sagittariuses though, because again, my spawn's a Gemini. So, hi Liz. That's funny that we have a bunch of Sags and Gems here. You're a Cancer. I know. I thought of you too. So is my Biffle. A Sag here. You're an Aries. Hi, Fragile Like a Bomb. Hi, Brandy. So, oh, how funny is that, Tiffany? Hi, Natasha. Sagittarius is. Wait, I don't know if that's the Sag sign. Actually, wait a second before I look like an idiot. What is that sign? Shit, what sign is that, Natasha? Oh, it's a Gemini! Yay! You're a Gemini too. See, I attract the Geminis, man. Thanks, Wolfie, for 41 months. These hoes ain't loyal like Wolfie. No, they don't make them like Wolfie. So there's a new Dateline tomorrow. That's what I think. Carla, did you say there's a new Dateline? And you're a Pisces, Daryl. Natasha's like, Gemini, babe. Gemini. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. A Libra. Hi, Harper's Nana. Hi, Deb Lee. So we have a Virgo with Cheryl. Let's hear it for the Pisces. If my mom would not have pushed so hard, I would have been a Sagittarius, but she's a beast. I'm Scorpio, but only for a few minutes. See, that's why you need to have. That was a really funny comment, Kelly. But that's why you have to have like your rising sign, your setting sign. I don't really know, but you get a more in depth reading dependent on like when specifically and where you were. Hi, C. Carter. Hi, Holly Burp Free. Hi, Crime All the Time. Who's an Aries? Jordan's a Sagittarius too. Katrina for 10 months. It's been longer, but I'm poor. Oh, you guys are too much. Hi, Blessed Grandma. Dana's like, where are my fellow Libras? Hi, Samantha. You know, I feel like I wish the poll would let me do 12 signs because I'm curious who, like, what majority do we have? Because it feels like I have a majority of Sagittariuses and Gemini so far. Aries for Samantha. Laps for Kelly's mom, Kate Bray says. Hi, Idaho Charlie. It's been so long. I need to ask. I'm filing Sebastian Rogers' case. You said a certain mom, WSU, is all up in the drama. Who is she? Racking my brain trying to figure out. Do you mean who? Because Idaho Charlie, you were around during the coverage. So do you mean who is she here in this Sebastian Rogers community, or are you asking who is she in general? Because I know you were around back then. Hi, Peach911, Virgo. Hi, Freak Vamp. Simply Issa, Scorpio. Hi, poor Linda, Aquarius. You love Libras, Lisa? Yeah, Kim Patrick. Oh, okay, I'm assuming you're saying yes. Who is she in the, like, what did she change her name to? Is that the question? Hi, Shay.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Sorry it took me a second.
Oh, we are just talking about signs, sags,
What?
sags, and Kim. We're just talking about it all. Oh, and Dateline. So yeah, you're fine. You're fine. We didn't even get to the missing child. We're just chatting away about what our signs are and how Kelly's mom pushed a bit too hard and prevented her from being a sag. So she's a couple of minutes of Scorpio. What have you been up to?
Astrological signs.
Yes.
I'm like, why are you calling this woman a sag? Like, what the heck is that? Like, Melissa.
I told you it sounded dirty, guys. Hi, Nessie. Okay, the Dateline episode, Callie, is from what I'm understanding, it's going to be about the Idaho 4, right? Like, is new information coming out?
Yeah, 2-hour episode. They already have the clips. The Today Show has one right now.
Okay, I'll pull the clip up. So we could watch it
They
together.
they have one in YouTube that's easier than accessing through their website, just FYI. But yeah, like there's articles and stuff too. Like one of the girls that I guess Bryan had asked for her number at the pool party at the Grove. That's coming out. Like she's interviewed, and then apparently they have the ring footage at 1112 King and showing Bryan's car looping.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And about some search history, some search stuff as well.
What time does this air tomorrow?
Hold
Like
on.
too late by the time it gets done, too late to do a live, and like maybe just the next day, or early enough to where we could live react. I wish we could stream it.
It's gonna be 9 o'clock your time, 8
Okay.
Central.
So then maybe do you want to do another Idaho on Saturday to react to it?
Yeah, I can.
Or Sunday, whenever, whatever. We'll talk. So Wolfie, are you still here? What was Kim's current name? Oh man. Let me tell you what it is, Idaho Charlie, aka let me go to Wolfie and ask, and she knows. She remembers everything and I don't ever remember anything, and I'd have to go look. So howl or something, oh woo, and she'll appear. Yes, that is right, Angie. But I'm not doing anything late at night, so. Well, I need
Oh,
you. What did Kim change her name to? High Pointer Lover?
and
Well, it's
Sunday
not
is
about.
Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not Mother's Night.
That's Sunday, yeah.
I'm celebrating in the morning time into the afternoon. Um, no, I have Hulu, but you can't stream it on. They make just so you guys know, they make apps to where you cannot stream it. You can't even go try to take a screenshot of like HBO or Netflix. It's black. It's black, number one. But even if Hulu allowed it to be streamed, and there's a difference between streaming it, like if you're both on a FaceTime call and you're looking to stream it, that's different. If you try to share a screen, majority of the time it's black, but YouTube wouldn't allow you to stream it. It'll just immediately get taken down. Does that make sense? But you couldn't like Discord, and that's why with Patreon, I wish I could do it in Patreon, but it's the same thing because it's through YouTube. Yes, Kim's current name that she changed it bouncing around the Sebastian community, remember?
Mm-hmm. Oh, do I
Um,
know what it is?
I'm asking Wolfie because I know that it was mentioned somewhere. I just don't know what her current name is right now. Okay, so here, let me jump right into this. All right. No, it doesn't let you record. It doesn't let you screenshot this. The breaks, like, so no, you can't record. The only way you could do it, and that's why, like, a lot of times you'll see someone record with one device onto another device, and it's real shitty quality. But because they make it to where they won't let you. Hi, Amnesia. Would love Forensic Frenzy to join with you both. That'd be awesome. My email is right in the description of every stream I do, just so you guys know. And it should be in my about section, but I changed my about section a few months back, and I remember I was limited with my characters, but it's always in every description of every live stream. So, yes, she did. Kim is who she says she is, but that doesn't mean what she's saying is true. Thank you, Natasha. So this is our missing child for tonight. This is Nevaeh Marie Brocklehurst. She has been missing since April 3rd, 2025, out of Trenton, New Jersey. She is 13 years old. You could definitely see she has her ears pierced, but she also has the nose ring, just to kind of identifying markers there. So it says Nevaeh May traveled to Phillipsburg or Easton, New Jersey, where she was last seen. Her hair was dyed black and blue. So if anyone has information of Nevaeh's whereabouts, please contact the Trenton Police Department at 1-609-989-4000. Okay. So there. Go ahead.
Did Whiffy get you the name?
I don't know. I was reading the missing child. Did she say anything?
No, not yet. I'm looking because I remember I took a screenshot. I saw her in chat.
I know, that's how I know it too. I have a screenshot, except I don't know what to look like, keyword search it, because it wouldn't be her name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see with the Dateline. Ooh, 11 hours ago. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't even see this yet. I'm super stoked. Thanks, Pointer Lover, for 31 months. That is awesome. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
it's Fly on the Wall.
Is it? She changed it a couple times because it wasn't Fly on the Wall at first.
I mean, it's what I remember last seeing, like her in there, and I remember somebody else also confirming it from the TikTok community that was in that same chat. I don't know if it was Salty or one of them.
Yeah. So it may be Fly on the Wall. Right now, it's words are weapon. Right? Oh, please tell me you're kidding, Harlot. It's words are weapons. Use them wisely. Are you effing kidding me? If that's her, you're kidding, right, Harlot? Hi, Phoebe. Shay. We're gonna finish the rest of that record, like that stream we did with her. But the fact that she could ever have her name to be that when she was standing on all of the allegations, destroying other kids' lives, are you kidding me?
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think? Hi, Melissa. Yeah, that's ironic as fuck. All right. Well, before we get back into the Kim stuff, I want to watch. This is the new Dateline 2 hour that's going to premiere tomorrow night. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm totally excited. Hi, Lisa. All right, ready?
I'm
I
ready.
already know. Hold on.
Just steps
I already know it's going to do this.
from campus in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022.
Every time I go to share the screen and I play that video, once I go back to StreamYard, it minimizes again, if that makes sense. It's really annoying. Hi, King Scarlet.
Hey, KSN.
Okay. And I love, God, I love Keith Morrison. Anybody who watches SNL, Bill Hader, his impression of Keith Morrison is the best. It's the best. And he was so obsessed with Keith that eventually, like, he got to meet him, and it was the most adorable thing. So
I've already seen the Twitter trolls attacking Keith about this.
no, leave Keith alone.
And they're bringing up his stepson, you know?
No, Matthew Perry,
Yes, they're like being just cruel. I'm like, really?
leave Keith alone. He is grandfathered in to true crime. Don't mess with him. He's there. Come on. He has the best voice.
He's an OG investigative journalist. Like,
He
I
is an
really appreciate
OG.
him.
But Bill Hader's impressions of him are fucking great, because it'll be like, you know, did you ever seen them?
I don't think so. You have
Oh
to show
my,
me.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
are we
hold
gonna
on.
play the stupids later?
I mean, I totally can. May as well just turn off my monetization now. But hold
No,
on, I've got
sorry. You
it.
don't have to.
No,
Don't.
oh, I don't give a shit, because I'm about to show you Bill Hader's impression before we even do this, because it is. Once you will see it, you'll understand why it's so funny.
Well, you might want to anyways, because you know that Dateline theme song always gets hit.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hold on. just prepare for how funny this is going to be, okay? So we're just taking a little detour.
Okay.
I have not been lucky enough to attend SNL Live Watercolor Talk, but I have been outside of the building as SNL is setting up and passing the people. And okay, so like, I don't want to give too much away, but I'm kind of a big deal. I basically was part of the cast. So just saying,
You would be an excellent addition to the cast.
I'm kind of a big deal. So, all right, are you guys ready for this? And it was worth it. He is, so there's that. He's a legend. Okay, so here we go. You're welcome in advance. So accurate, that is. So accurate.
That's awesome. Yes, it's spot on too.
So don't you be coming for Keith Morrison, okay? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The popcorn gets me every time. So I chopped off his arms. Yeah. In a weird, twisted way. It is kind of how the Dateline episodes go. And they always reuse the same photo throughout the entire hour, man.
That is true. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
They just add it like into different places and different contexts. So I love it.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that he
Oh
skits.
my god. But Bill Hader like just truly actually has an obsession with Keith. Like he loves Keith. He's into the true crime. So there's something on YouTube you could watch where they set him up to where Keith surprised Bill, and like Bill's like in tears, like so excited. So don't you come for Keith Morrison, all right? So now we're supposed to watch this actual Dateline clip, which I'm very excited about.
In this house, just steps from campus, in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Maddy Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were stabbed to death. Their accused killer, Bryan Kohberger, faces trial this summer. He's pleaded not guilty. For the last 2.5 years, Dateline has been on the ground, reporting, gathering, and learning from people with direct knowledge of the case. We've obtained things that have never before been seen publicly, like these security videos from a camera on a house near the murder scene, videos that show a white sedan, a car that investigators believe was driven by Bryan Kohberger, making repeated passes at the King Road house that night before the murders.
Mm-hmm.
Like this and our reporting, we have assembled a timeline for the weeks, months, and days before and after the murders. Starting with a pool party Kohberger attended in July, just after he moved to the area in pursuit of his PhD in criminology.
The pool party?
An exclusive interview with a woman who exchanged numbers with Kohberger, then did not return his text.
The universe intervened and for whatever reason just distracted me from further engaging in that interaction.
We'll also reveal...
Wait, what? Did Jesus say the university intervened?
No, the universe.
Oh, I was going to say. Okay. All right.
...return his text.
The universe intervened and for whatever reason just distracted me from further engaging in that interaction.
We'll also reveal records from Kohberger's cell phone that are in the possession of law enforcement and Google searches regarding the serial killer Ted Bundy. We have also seen these. Dozens of photos in Kohberger's cell phone, browsing history, women from Washington State and the University of Idaho, including close friends of the King Road victims. Dateline has also obtained records showing the details of what an FBI cell phone expert has claimed to be in the month before the murders. 23 occasions when Kohberger's phone connected to a cell tower, providing coverage to within 100 meters of the house at 1122 King Road. And in the hours after the murders, details of the timing of phone calls Bryan Kohberger made to a phone linked to his parents just before the controversial selfie he took. And we'll talk to the mother whose daughter was supposed to be staying in the house the night of the murders, but a change of plans may have saved her daughter's life.
How soon was it that you thought, my God, she was going to be there?
I didn't think about that right away.
Huh.
All I could think about was the kids.
Makes you sad too, doesn't it?
Does. Sorry.
Oh God.
So many damaged families. Angela
think she's the
DeVay has
sixth
told us that
roommate.
her daughter, Ashlyn, Maddie Mogen's best friend, moved away from Idaho and now refuses to come home to visit because of the trauma associated with the murders. She's hoping some of that may change and Ashlyn will start to grieve after Bryan Kohberger's trial. Back to you, Greg and Savannah.
Such a heartbreaking story. Keith, thank you. And we know we'll have more on Dateline. We'll look forward to that. I want to turn now to NBC senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett, who's here. You follow this very closely too. And now we're starting to see some of the case that the prosecution plans to present. What do you think is the significance and how compelling will it be to a jury?
Yeah, there's no question. You can't watch that and not think the prosecution has a very strong case here. But there are defenses that Kohberger's team can offer. It's just a question if the jury finds them convincing. So on the white sedan, for instance, nobody sees Kohberger get in and out of that car. Nobody even sees him leave the house. All you have is a surviving roommate seeing bushy eyebrows, but not actually IDing Kohberger there. On the cell phone tower, they can put up an expert to say cell phone towers are not that accurate. We already know that they're going to say he liked to drive around at night. And so there's nothing that suggests that he was actually casing the joint, as that's basically the prosecution's theory there. Googling Ted Bundy, that does not look good, right? Objectively, that does not look good, but he's a criminology student. It's not a crime to Google serial killers.
Laura Jarrett doing her best defense attorney this morning. And you know, you find in trials, you know, any particular piece of evidence can be batted down, but sometimes it's the totality of the evidence.
Of course, the biggest piece is that his DNA is found in the crime scene, and the defense is going to have to try to explain that, according to prosecutors.
What about motive, Laura? The fact that even now, a couple years after the murders themselves, no motive has been presented.
I think I've always found that curious. Jurors like to attach to a story, and I think they're going to want to at least hear what the state has to offer on that. And I think by the time we get to trial, prosecutors are going to have something. Was it stalking? Did he target them? They're going to want to understand what the prosecution's theory is. Why did he pick these particular students?
But they don't have, do they have to?
No,
Okay.
They do not have to offer a motive. We should be clear about that. That's not a part of the case, but I'm just saying as they're laying it out to flesh it out, they might want to.
Makes sense, Laura. Thank you so much. Sure. And Craig getting his court TV on. I love it.
I love being sandwiched between two lawyers.
I know, and I'm proud of you. You're like, motive is not an element of the crime. Well done, my friend. Okay, reminder, you can see Keith's full report tomorrow night, all new Dateline 9, 8 Central, right here on NBC.
Shay, how would they have gotten that information?
Well, I mean, they had some stuff that we had heard that Howard Bloom had. I have heard about the Grove because I heard that from, I thought,
About the what?
Brat, the Grove pool party, like that from
Yeah.
Brat.
Yeah.
Brat. And then I think also Dateline talked about the Amazon purchase. They've had quite a few things, honestly.
Shay, how would they have the data from his phone and what photos he had?
Grand jury leak. That's my assumption.
Okay.
And then I saw, sorry, it's kind of like piecemeal, like what I'm finding, but like people. So I sent you like an article that came from NBC that had the actual exchange more in depth, or not more in depth, but a little bit more on the female that gave her phone number to Bryan. But and then People did a article as well.
Okay. Even if it was a leak, they have photos. How'd they get that? This isn't a verbal leak. Like,
What do you mean?
They would, like,
Photos of what?
they said that they did you not see the photos they showed from Bryan's phone?
Of the girls?
Yes, and then the calls he was making. How did they get that? There's a difference between a verbal grand jury leak and actual, like, the jury don't get they don't get those documents. You get to see it, and observe it and maybe take it into deliberation. I don't even know. They don't always have that. But how would they have had their hands on it to even leak it out?
Right.
Unless it was an actual official.
I'm not certain.
See, with Harlot, there's sexual gratification even outside of the like a normal quote unquote sexual situation, and that's what I think it was personally with him. So it wasn't sexual. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that, but I think he got his quote unquote rocks off through the adrenaline rush of the kill. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Apparently, like, they even have some of his searches. That's what I was finding interesting.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. How the hell would they have gotten that?
A leak.
But why this close? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That doesn't make you go, why?
Well, I mean, it could be anything goes at this point, like trials coming and information's coming out, but we also knew that there were people that were going up to Idaho or around that area that were talking to like locals and others. So there's no telling. I mean, I don't know. And I even like walked away after we did the Howard Bloom thing last time and the Dr. Ramslin stuff, feeling like maybe there was some truth to it, you know? I don't know. It's weird. There's going to be leaks somewhere.
Sorry, I totally paused because my brain was working. Hi, just Christine. That's true. I guess they have a leak, yeah, but it just seems, I don't know, it's such a big leak. Like, okay, the footage, all right, I could grapple with that because there's always been that type of stuff floating around from early on. But specific data from his phone, I'm like, oh, that's more, no. Interesting. That's very interesting. No, not really. I mean, the defense can make an argument with anything, but then they'd have to go through the process of proving where the leak came from, and it would honestly be a separate issue. And that person would be kind of held accountable because even with the leak, even with the information, the jurors that are picked, the jurors aren't picked. Now, if the jurors were picked and that was leaked to one of the jurors, absolutely. But the jury hasn't even been picked yet. And, in the long scheme of things, no. Huh.
Yeah. I'm really curious too. I mean, I'm just kind of surmising, I don't. It makes you wonder.
Okay, hold on. The defense and the prosecution both pick the jury. And so the jury goes through a grueling process. And each side has the ability to basically say no X amount of times, like it's a process, but they both have input. Both defense and prosecution has input in picking the jury. Yes, Natasha. So it says, Bryan Kohberger searched online for Ted Bundy and non-consensual pornography in weeks surrounding Idaho murder. See, that's crazy to me, Shay. Okay. So these new allegations from police were... shut it. These new allegations from police were reported by NBC News along with video and images of a car similar to Kohberger seen driving in the neighborhood that night. So Kohberger allegedly searched online for Ted Bundy as well as pornography depicting non-consensual sex in the weeks before and after 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death at an off-campus home, according to a report from NBC News, which cites police documents. The network reports that Kohberger allegedly searched for pornography with the keywords forced, passed out, drugged, and sleeping. Shay.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to send you the People article. I was like, what? And
Thanks,
then
Wolfie. Words are weapons. Use them wisely. WSU Mom Kim, new name. May I play my game now? Yes! Harlot told us that 20 minutes ago, but bless your heart. Thank you so much. Enjoy your game. Poor Wolfie. We should have gave her the update. Harlot figured it out.
I just figured she was like, whatever.
Yeah, I figured she was still here. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Wolfie. Have fun playing.
She's been searching this whole time. I'm so sorry. You know what? This is why you need to always listen in the background. You would have known. Okay, so wow, searched for pornography with the keywords forced, passed out, drugged, and sleeping, Shay.
That's disturbing.
So it says those are just 2 of the new allegations that will be revealed about the case on a new episode of Dateline this Friday, May 9th at 9. Shay, we gotta watch this together.
I know. I'm like, oh, I'm so curious. Because wasn't it the Dateline episodes that were taken down that I was freaking out about?
Yes, it was.
Yes, and I said, that makes me wonder because of the grand jury leak thing, and I was going nuts trying to find my notebook because I remember when you and I watched it, we took notes and then did that recap.
Yeah. Natasha. You did. Thank you, Wolfie. Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought you were listening. Yeah, Dateline's got the juice, man. Okay, so it says the Bundy search could have been related to Kohberger's role as a teacher's assistant in an introductory level criminology class, a job he held both before and after the murders. It could also have been a way for him to find the op-ed his mother had wrote about the serial killer in 1999, which later went viral after her son's arrest. So by that time, Kohberger was incarcerated and he did not have access to a cell phone or a computer. NBC News also obtained video footage of a car similar to the one driven by Kohberger that was taken both before and after the fatal stabbings of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. The 4 were found stabbed to death inside the home that Mogen, Goncalves, and Kernodle shared with their 2 surviving roommates. The probable cause affidavit alleges that authorities linked Kohberger to the killings after running traces of DNA found on a knife sheath through genetic genealogy sites to identify a relative. Police also traced the location of Kohberger's cell phone on the night of the murders. NBC News reports that cell phone tower data and records reviewed by an FBI expert allegedly showed Kohberger's phone connected to a tower, providing coverage within 100 meters of the murder house 23 times over 4 months. The phone always connected after sunset, according to the report, and the last recorded visit occurred just 6 days before the killings, NBC News reports. In a motion laying out his alibi, Kohberger's lawyer, Ann Taylor, said the suspect was out driving by himself on the night of the murders and that he did not kill the 4 victims. Kohberger's murder trial is set to get underway August 11th in Ada County after the defense successfully petitioned for a change of venue. If convicted, he could be sentenced to death. The murder suspect previously told the public defender who represented him after his arrest in Pennsylvania that he expects to be exonerated at trial. He declined to enter a plea in an Idaho courtroom when he was formally charged with the 4 counts of murder, so the judge entered a not guilty plea for him. Lada County Prosecutor William Thompson and Taylor, who are prohibited from making extrajudicial statements about the case under a non-dissemination order filed just days after Kohberger's arrest, did not respond to requests for comment. Shay.
I know. I'm shooketh.
That's me shaking, like, because I'm just wow.
I would
Wow.
be interested of what evidence they have.
I am so. Well, he wouldn't have blood on his face there, hun. Wow. With my Owen Wilson wow. Wow.
It's my favorite.
I'm just.
So,
Oh.
but like going back to that Dateline clip, he said they had pictures of some of the victims' friends saved in his phone. What? Did you remember hearing that?
Say that again. It was the friends of the victims, yeah.
Yeah.
U of I students and stuff, yeah.
It's wild.
But see, it's very interesting when we know that there's no direct connection between him and the victims, but now to know, oh, but friends of the victims, that, the circle. God, even some of those photos looked so similar to the photos of the victims, all the same stances, they all look so similar, it's eerie.
Yeah, there was one of them I noticed in a black outfit of maybe
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 people that I was like, that photo looks like somebody.
Yeah. Wow.
It's disturbing.
And so then the secret.
If true.
Yeah. 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 Sorry. Oh my goodness. It's a great question, but I really liked Shay's theory because it kind of went really deep down this rabbit hole of what if those were student IDs or possible faculty IDs to get into the lab for those chemicals and cleaning products, lab strength ones.
For sure. Run everything May 1st and up.
Wow. I'm just shooketh, Shay. I'm shooketh. All right, here, girl, you read. This is the motion to seal the reply in support of the state's motion for examination of Kohberger pursuant to Idaho Code. It's an extension of time to complete the rebuttal penalty phase expert disclosures. So you could just start by the filings. It's fine.
The filing reveals personal private information of Kohberger and affects his privacy interests. Specifically, the filing reveals mental health information about Kohberger, including psychiatric, and neurological information, and diagnoses,
There you go.
diagnoses of Kohberger. The filing also reveals the nature of mental condition examinations already conducted and the type of examinations and testing the state seeks to perform, some of which is personality testing, to which Kohberger objects. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get something with some sugar. I feel like
So
I need some energy.
Sorry, but why would he be objecting if he is truly struggling with these disorders? Are you serious? And starter villain, because I saw someone else had said earlier also, FOIA, and has anyone ever tried to get his phone calls and texts? So you guys, it's an open investigation and he has not gone to trial yet. So it's an active case. They will not release those documents. Now, sometimes in certain situations, you can get some things before they go to trial, but there's a gag order specifically on this case. So you're not going to get anything. The only reason we got the 911 call is because there was kind of like a little bit of a loophole with Whitcomb, and they just ended up releasing it on their own to the parties that applied. But they're not going to release anything. Okay, next. Get your sugar. Sugar, bum, 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 bum. Oh, honey, honey.
Now I feel like we need to listen to Howard Bloom's book.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Because if I find Howard is the full source of all of Dateline, I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna pop.
Keith, don't do me like that.
Don't do me like that, Keith.
Yes, let me grab some sugar. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like.
Yeah, absolutely, Patrick. Yeah. So this is the state's notice of penalty phase, lay witnesses, and request for victim impact statements. So it says, it hereby gives notice that the state does not intend to call any lay witnesses during the penalty phase. Rather, the state intends to rely on testimony and evidence admitted during the guilt phase. The state does not intend to afford victims the opportunity to present impact statements during the penalty phase. Both Article 1, Section 22 of the Idaho Constitution and Idaho Code guarantee a victim's right to be, quote, heard upon request at all criminal justice proceedings considering sentencing. The state moves for the immediate family members identified in State's Exhibit S1 attached to the state's motion in limine regarding the immediate family members in the courtroom, filed on February 24th. We had read that. To be allowed and present victim impact statements during any penalty phase in the above titled case. This is supported by IC 19-2515 5A, which states as follows: evidence concerning the victim and the impact that the death of the victim has had on the victim's family is relevant and admissible. Such evidence shall be designed to demonstrate the victim's uniqueness as an individual human being and the resultant loss to the community by the victim's death. Characterizations and opinions about the crime, the defendant, and the appropriate sentence shall not be permitted as part of any victim impact evidence. The state has previously disclosed a penalty phase expert witness. See state's supplemental response to request for discovery regarding penalty phase experts, dated January 27th. This is from Ashley Jennings. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Okay. You could do the motion to seal defendants phase 2 mitigation witness list. Oh, short and sweet. I guess you don't have to do that. It's just by and through the attorneys of record moves the court to seal the defendants phase 2 mitigation witness list. I'll give you the next one. See, this doesn't have new, but it's filed for the 7th. The defendant's family members in the courtroom. You are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. You there, Shay?
I'm back. Sorry.
Did you? Is that a cluster?
No, it was fruit snacks.
Oh, you go for like the healthy. I go for Gushers.
It wasn't even healthy.
Fruit snacks are healthy in comparison to Gushers. Do they burst in your mouth?
No, I didn't have anything like that, but I did get I got a Dr. Pepper, and then I was trying to. Oh yeah, I was trying to tell my husband to go to bed, and he's like gummied out on the couch, and he has like the Karen retrial up, and I'm like, you don't even know what.
I'm waiting for my husband to go to bed.
Gee, he could be such a buzzkill because he'll always tell me, like, he'll be like, quiet down, you're always so loud. I'm like, no, I'm not loud, but I mean, I guess I am, but this is just who I am. Like, accept me, damn it.
Accept me.
And that's actually what I just said to him. I said, go to bed before you complain about Melissa and I getting loud.
Oh, we're not even loud. We're at a reasonable tone right now.
I think I have a reasonable tone. Like, you are naturally loud.
Yeah, that's true. I am not. Shay's on one tonight.
Dude, but I was like, please. And he's just sitting in there. I'm like, you don't even know what's going on in the trial. Just go to bed.
That just says sleep tight, motherfucker. Bye.
I know. He does this. He'll take a gummy and he'll be like, I'm going to pass out in like 30 minutes. And then, like, 4 hours later, he's like playing some royal match game on his phone. And he's like, I'm in the zone. I'm like, go to bed.
Oh my gosh. Good night, Wolfie.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, we're talking about sags and gushers. Come on. It's the best.
Okay. I'll quit.
I love it.
No, it's just, it is what it is. I'm a nighttime person. So I'm like, let me have my time. Let me do me. Okay.
Let me be me.
Let me be me. In its order on motion in limine regarding family members in courtroom, April 16, 2025, the court ordered the state to submit for an ex parte in-camera review a list of Kohberger's immediate family members it intends to call at trial. The purpose for calling each of them, whether they can be called early in the case, and why exclusion from the courtroom prior to providing testimony is necessary. The state timely complied with this directive. Having considered the state's response, the court, exercising its discretion, finds good cause of excuse cause to excuse Kohberger's immediate family, i.e., parents and siblings, from the anticipated exclusion order that will be entered under Idaho Code 615 prior to trial. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The U.S. Supreme Court has recognized that the right to a public trial afforded by the Sixth Amendment. I just ate a gummy too, as well. I mixed it in with the fruit
Great.
snack.
It hasn't even kicked in yet.
I haven't kicked in yet. I was like really running low on energy. We had my daughter had field day today on top of her rehearsal stuff, so I'm just whooped.
Yeah. Well, too bad you're stuck with me.
I'm so
I
looking
know.
forward to it.
I know. But your brain starts to shut down. Trust me, I'm like that 4 out of the 7 nights now.
Like me. Okay.
Yeah.
What does it say?
I'm making this banana dessert thing and I can't stop checking on it like it's going to cook faster. That's like when you open the fridge 23 times expecting suddenly something to pop out that's appetizing.
Absolutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay. The U.S. Supreme Court has recognized that the right to a public trial afforded by the Sixth Amendment entitles a criminal defendant at the very least to have his friends, relatives, and counsel present, no matter with what offense he may be charged. Courts recognize that having a defendant's family members present at trial advances the values served by the right to a public trial, i.e., ensuring fair proceedings, reminding the prosecutor and judge of their grave responsibilities, discouraging perjury, and encouraging witnesses to come forward. Like other constitutional rights, a defendant's right to a public trial is not absolute. The right to an open trial may give way in. Scroll down. I got to do my side by side. In certain cases, to other rights or interests. Here, the court must balance Kohberger's right to have his family members present at the trial against the state's interest in excluding testifying witnesses from trial under Idaho Code 615. The purpose of exclusion of witnesses under this code is to reduce the possibility of a witness shaping his testimony to conform with or rebuke prior testimony of others. Under the circumstances here, the court does not find that excluding the testifying members of the Kohberger family will serve this purpose. Namely, the scope of the family members' proposed testimony is very narrow and is not necessarily tied to the testimony of other witnesses. Further, the family members were previously interviewed regarding the matters on which they will be questioned at trial. Okay, can I just pause that?
Yes.
That makes me think of back in court at the motions in limine hearing whenever I always forget her name, the backup I say she's second in line to Anne, the brunette.
Oh, that's
What is her name? I'm awful.
My God, don't make me get my notebook out.
I need to give them nicknames. I need to give them nicknames. It'll do me better.
By the
But
time I get my notebook, Carlet's gonna fucking answer. Hold on, let me get it quickly before she answers.
massive. Thank you.
Mother.
So that was Angel D. That was Angel D.
God damn it! It doesn't matter. I knocked over my whole charger and everything to grab that notebook quickly. Whatever. Go ahead.
Hey MK. Hey Angel D. Hey Chase. Sorry. I'll move forward. But remember when like she was talking about how they weren't working with the state at all? Do you remember that?
Sorry, I walked away to put my notebook back. I wasn't listening.
You didn't even keep it?
No, I don't need it. Everyone answers so quick.
You're a smart chat.
Yeah, I know.
But I was saying, remember at the motions in limine hearing,
Yeah.
Masseth was talking, was it about something about like the family not, his family not working with the state?
Yes, correct.
Okay, but they've obviously been interviewed. So
Yeah.
what was she saying? Like,
I don't know because they're called out as witnesses, whether or not they want to be called as witnesses. Didn't make sense.
Sorry, I was laughing. Okay. I don't know.
I think that she just wanted it the same way that anytime like you have a defendant appear in court, whether it's civil court, criminal court, like they tend to always make sure to let the judge know that they have a strong support system behind them and their family is there to represent them. I think it was more about just letting it know that Bryan's family is going to be there to represent him and fully is on his side. It was more they're going to be called some, at least, or at least one will be called as a witness potentially. So,
I mean, of course, like, what did she think that the state was acting like their allies with his family? I mean,
right.
I just thought that was so out of step when I'm reading this now. You know, I'm like, why did she go out of her way to say that? Like, we wouldn't already freaking know, you know? But anyways, so under the circumstances here, the court does not find that excluding testify. Okay, I already went over that. Further, the family members were previously interviewed regarding the matters on which they will be questioned at trial. These prior recordings serve to protect against any attempt by the family members to mold their testimony based on how others testify before them. In addition, the trial publicity is such that Kohberger's family members are likely aware of what the testimony and evidence will be in the state's case in chief. Thus, exclusion pending their testimony will not necessarily prevent them from conforming their testimony. Finally, the state has indicated it would prefer that the family members remain in the courtroom and be called when the state sees fit rather than calling them as out of order witnesses. In sum, given that Kohberger's right to a public trial in general, the importance of the presence of his family members to both defendant and to the family members, and exclusion of
Let me scroll. There you go.
his testifying or exclusion of his testifying family members under Idaho code will not advance the purposes of the rule. The court will allow them to remain in the courtroom throughout trial. It is so ordered. And I'm glad he did that. I think that's the right move.
Yep. Sorry.
Hey, Harlot.
Let me pull this down. It's starting to get hot, man.
Why is it getting hot?
Feeling hot, hot, hot. All right.
That's the song you go to?
As opposed
to Nelly, it's getting hot in here. It's
old
getting hot in here. You're what?
I'm old school. You know, I don't really like new music, even though I think that's an old song, right? It's pretty old.
You have an old soul, yeah.
Yeah, I have an old soul. I've never heard that. Natasha says, where are all the pro turd burglars? But I haven't heard that before. It's usually pro burgers, not pro turd burglars.
Can you make it bigger, or does it do the weird thing when you try to?
That's what she said. Hold on.
In biggin.
Like that?
That.
I'm starting to get better at this stuff.
I'm a
Oh shit!
professional.
No, I kind of forgot. I can't zoom when it's in this view. That's
What do you
why I
mean?
usually don't. So, never mind.
Sorry.
Kind of a big deal. But I will zoom the best I can. All right. So now we have the
All I
order.
want to do is zoom, zoom, zoom.
How
Yep.
I love it. Is this better?
Yeah. I was just having a hard time reading earlier.
I'm sorry. I didn't zoom. I'm sorry.
I have old eyes.
Okay. So we have the order on state's motion for the examination and extension of a deadline. So before the court is the state's motion to conduct, and this is what the secret hearing was about, guys. It's a state's motion to conduct an examination of Kohberger pursuant to IC 18-207. And to extend the penalty phase rebuttal disclosure deadline to accommodate opinions arising from that examination, meaning like let us see if he really is on the spectrum. Let us see if he really has all these disorders you're talking about and get an eval. And then if he does, if he doesn't, we'll have our opinions from that, based off that. And so it says, Kohberger does not dispute that his penalty phase expert disclosures opining to his mental conditions trigger the state's right under the statute to conduct its own mental health evaluation. What is in dispute, however, is the scope of the examination, whether defense counsel may be present, and whether the state has shown good cause to extend the rebuttal disclosure deadline. Oral argument on the motion was held by video conference May 5th, 2025, after which the court ruled from the bench. This order memorializes this ruling. So the standards, constitutional questions are questions of law. It has case law. Whether good cause has been shown for an extension of time is a discretionary decision. On discretionary matters, the trial court must, 1, correctly perceive the issue as one of the discretion, 2, act within the boundaries of such discretion, 3, consistently with any legal standard applicable to the specific choices before it, and 4, reach its decision by an exercise of reason. Procedural background. January 23rd, 2025, Kohberger timely disclosed guilt phase expert opinions by 2 mental health professionals who examined Kohberger and subsequently diagnosed him with various mental and behavioral conditions, including autism spectrum disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Following those disclosures, the state provisionally retained a psychologist to conduct an examination of Kohberger and provide a report to rebuttal purposes. March 31st, 2025, Kohberger timely disclosed penalty phase expert opinions by 5 mental health professionals, including the 2 previously disclosed regarding his various mental and behavioral health conditions. The deadline for the state's penalty phase expert disclosures was set for April 28th, 2025. So on April 2nd, the state initiated communications with defense counsel about conducting an examination of Kohberger. Defense counsel responded that same day, requesting the name of the experts, the nature of the testing, and whether there was an objection to defense counsel being present for the exam. The following day, the state provided the information requested, including the proposed testing. Among the tests listed was an assessment of personality structure. The state also objected to defense counsel being present. In response, defense counsel did not object to the evaluation, but did object to any testing outside the scope of what Kohberger's experts had conducted, specifically personality testing. She also asked the state to reconsider its position as to having counsel present during the examination. On April 7th, the state responded, indicating it would not remove personality testing from the proposed examination and would not agree to counsel being present during the examination, except through a video feed or otherwise by having counsel shielded from defendant's view. So both parties agree that Kohberger's disclosure of his psychological experts to testify in mitigation triggered a waiver of any privilege by the defendant and a mandatory right of the state to have its expert conduct an examination. Okay, so April 11th, the state's mental health expert informed counsel he was not able to continue on the case. Approximately 1 week later, the state retained a replacement, Dr. Redacted, and informed Kohberger of such. The declaration Hurett Exhibit S2, the state indicated it will not the state indicated it still needed to discuss with specifics of the examination with their new doctor, including his position of having counsel present. On April 22nd, the state alerted the defense counsel via email that their new doctor personally believed testing was warranted and objected to counsel's presence. The state also sought a stipulation to extend the rebuttal disclosure deadline for purposes of disclosing the doctor's opinion. Defense counsel responded that same day, objecting to the deadline extension, to personality testing, and to her exclusion from the room. On March 25th, 2025, the state filed the current motion, and you could do the analysis. But do you know how strange that is? Hey, hi, Mallory. We want, first of all, was the state allowed in the room during the evaluation of defense? But then to say, I want to be in this room while he is being evaluated by your doctor, no, that's odd.
Mm-hmm. I think that's odd too. I think that it should be the doctor alone. I can understand the viewing of it.
Yeah.
For the parties, but it seems like it would be better more one-on-one,
Yeah.
And
they
then,
don't need to be there for a organic, as much of an organic and natural evaluation that you could get.
unless they're afraid that he may say something that could be used against him.
Yes.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, analysis. In its motion, the state seeks an order from the court, one, extending the deadline for its penalty phase rebuttal disclosures for 21 days following the completion of the state's expert examination. Two, allowing the state's expert to administer standardized personality testing on Kohberger. And three, excluding defense counsel's presence at the examination. Kohberger responds that one, there is no good cause for the extension and it would be highly prejudicial given the posture of the case. Two, personality testing is beyond the scope of rebuttal and would violate his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. And three, counsel's presence during the examination is required by the Sixth Amendment. As indicated at the hearing on the motion, the court finds good cause for a short extension to the deadline. As for the examination, personality testing will not be allowed, nor will counsel's presence in the examination room be allowed. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's all interesting. Hi, Dog Defender.
Hey, a limited extension of the rebuttal disclosure deadline is warranted because
No, good luck. You can't. I already talk on 2 times, Robin. So listening on 2 times is 4 times. Good luck.
Because the state filed the current motion prior to the expiration of the rebuttal disclosure deadline, the question of whether to extend the deadline is guided by the good cause standard. In the civil context, good cause implies the existence of factors outside a party's control as opposed to the party's lack of diligence. And it's case law and says the reason for the delay must be truly unforeseen and excusable as opposed to counsel's failure to diligently prosecute this issue before the crisis was upon him, citing case law. The court may also consider whether defendant will be prejudiced by the delay. That was citing canon. These considerations apply equally in the criminal context. Evaluating these factors, the court finds good cause has been shown for a limited extension to the deadline. While the state should have filed its motion to extend the deadline weeks sooner, the court is sympathetic to the fact that the state's mental health expert, who had been provisionally retained shortly after Kohberger's guilt phase expert disclosures, decided to withdraw from the case just 2 weeks prior to the rebuttal disclosure deadline. Interesting. Leaving the state to scramble to retain another expert. Based on the state's representations during the hearing, the expert's withdrawal was unforeseen by and beyond the control of the prosecution until redacted was retained. Oh, do you think maybe their name got out there and they didn't want their name to be out there?
Maybe.
Interesting. Was retained. The state did not know his position on the 2 issues holding up the examination, i.e., personality testing and presence of counsel. Once the state learned of his position and confirmed Kohberger's objections, it moved accordingly. Considering these circumstances, the court finds the delay to be more attributable to the prior expert's unexpected withdrawal than lack of diligence by the state. However, the state's request to extend the rebuttal disclosure deadline to 21 days after the examination runs the risk of prejudicing Kohberger. Given the posture of this case, the volume of discovery, and the upcoming trial date, the court will only allow an extension to May 27, 2025, so that Kohberger has ample time to consider and potentially respond to the state's disclosure. Kohberger shall be made available to the state's expert for examination within the next 7 to 10 days, thus leaving the doctor approximately 2 weeks to complete his report. And okay, I don't really see anything in there. B, personality testing will not be allowed. The state seeks leave to allow its expert to conduct personality test on Kohberger during the examination to confirm, review, or otherwise contextualize the neuropsychological conditions diagnosed by Kohberger's experts, particularly ASD. The state argues there is no basis to limit its doctor's professional judgment as to the appropriate areas of examination, and further, Kohberger has opened the door by offering testimony about his lack of personality disorder. The state contends it will only seek to utilize the results of the examination as rebuttal evidence in the penalty phase and will disclose all the results of the examination to Kohberger. Now, this is making more sense why we were seeing some of these words and motions now. So Kohberger objects, arguing personality tests exceed the scope of proper rebuttal. He points out his own experts did not perform personality testing or diagnose him with a personality disorder. Rather, his proffered evidence concerns his diagnoses of ASD, OCD, ADHD, and his history of eating disorders and substance abuse. He also argues nature of personality testing violates his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. As both parties appear to agree, the scope of the state's examination of Kohberger is confined to purposes of rebuttal. This is borne out by the language of Idaho Code 18207, which provides for a limited Fifth Amendment waiver for the mental condition placed at issue, stating, no court shall, over the objection of any party, receive the evidence of any expert witness on any issue of mental condition or permit such evidence to be placed before a jury, unless such evidence is fully subject to the adversarial process in at least the following particulars. Then raising an issue of mental condition in a criminal proceeding shall constitute a waiver of any privilege that might otherwise be interposed to the bar to bar the production of evidence. You want to scroll down? I'm just reading on my own. On the subject and upon request, the court, I'm at the end of page 5. The court shall order the state's experts shall have access to the defendant in such cases for the purpose of having its own experts conduct an examination in preparation for any legal proceeding at which the defendant's mental condition may be an issue. And then Idaho Code 18207, emphasis added, that was 4C that we read over. The subject to which waiver applies is an issue of mental condition. In other words, the statute does not provide for a waiver of a defendant's entire mental condition. It only waives privilege attaching to the mental condition he chooses to place before the jury, so as to allow the state to controvert his proof on an issue that he interjected into the case. And then, yeah, I think we already read that part. This is consistent with the well-settled waiver principles under the Fifth Amendment. When a defendant waives his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination by voluntarily providing testimony in his own defense, he does so only on the matters raised by his own testimony on direct examination. Indeed, it's recognized among courts that waiver under provisions similar to Idaho Code 18207 is limited to the issue raised by the defense, as noted by the Fifth Circuit in Hernandez v. Davis, which I'm not going to read over all that. Sorry, guys. Please feel free to check it out if you want. I'm going to go to page 7. So here the parties do not dispute that the scope of the state's examination is limited to is limited to review the mental conditions Kohberger has placed at issue. They agree that the state cannot explore new diagnoses or mental health conditions other than those placed at issue. What they do dispute is the manner in which the examination may proceed, specifically whether personality testing should be allowed. According to Kohberger, the personality testing proposed should not be allowed because it is not aimed at revealing proper rebuttal evidence. He points out that rebuttal evidence explains, repels, counteracts, or disproves evidence which has been introduced by or on behalf of the adverse party. There must be a nexus between the purported rebuttal evidence and the evidence that the purported rebuttal evidence seeks to review. Kohberger notes that his proffered evidence is limited to his diagnoses of ASD, OCD, ADHD, and history of eating disorders and substance abuse. Because he has not been diagnosed or even tested for a personality disorder, he argues testing for such is beyond the scope of rebuttal. In support, Kohberger cites to several cases where courts have limited the types of testing conducted in rebuttal examinations based on the scope of the mental health evidence proffered by the defendant. And it provides a little bit of case law there. I'm going to go down to page 8 specifically. It says the state responds that it is not proposing the personality test simply as a fishing expedition. Rather, he believes the test will aid in rebuttal for several reasons. As he explains, in my professional opinion, including broader testing of personality and psychopathology is important for several reasons. First, these tests contain the most sensitive symptom validity measures that help determine if the examinee is reporting information in a consistent and reliable manner without significant over-reporting, which is exaggeration, or under-reporting, which is like defensiveness. In her evaluation of Kohberger, it does not appear that Dr. Rachel Orr administered any test that formally evaluates symptom validity to this level. These validity measures help ensure that the results of other self-report measures that do not contain validity scales are valid. Second, not only is it important to rule in diagnoses such as those that have already been diagnosed, but also to rule out diagnoses that could account for the same symptom presentation. The diagnostic criterion for many disorders includes that the symptoms are not attributed to or are not better accounted for by another condition. Therefore, are you trying to figure out where I'm at?
Yeah.
I'm into page 8. I'm reading that middle part. Go up, babe. I'm right here.
There we go.
This is
I can't look away for a second or I lose it, man.
I know. I skipped over a bigger case law, but I did read a couple at first.
It's fine. Yeah,
Sorry.
we don't do that. No, don't apologize. I skip over that too.
So the diagnostic criterion for many disorders includes that the symptoms are not attributed to or are not better accounted for by another condition. Therefore, ruling out those conditions is important. Third, with autism specifically, there are certain personality characteristics that are common and supportive of that diagnosis. Obtaining information about those characteristics helps ensure a proper diagnosis. The battery of testing that I propose would be significantly less than the testing battery already completed by Dr. Orr. The battery would serve to supplement the battery that Dr. Orr completed and provide some additional valuable information. In my professional judgment, I would not administer the hair PCLR that is discussed in the report of the defense expert John F. Edens, or Dr. John F. Edens. And then it says declaration redacted. The state also notes that to the extent testing strays from its rebuttal purpose in any respect, there is no prejudice to Kohberger because he will have a chance to object prior to admission of the evidence at trial. To this end, the state cites to various cases where courts have declined to impose strict limits on the scope of court-ordered psychological exams, observing that even if the examination exceeds the scope of reasonable rebuttal, it will not be admitted at trial. The court's concern, I'm going to page 9. The court's concern with allowing the state's expert to conduct personality testing is twofold. First, the court is not convinced from the expert's explanation that the testing is within the scope of rebuttal. The first purpose identified, i.e., to ensure Kohberger's self-reported symptoms, particularly to Dr. Orr, are valid, might carry great importance if Dr. Orr's diagnoses were made largely based on Kohberger's self-reporting, but they were not. Dr. Orr's neuropsychological examination included extensive interviews with Kohberger's family members, co-workers, former teachers, and psychologists, and an evaluation of Kohberger's health and educational records. Moreover, Dr. Orr specifically observed, sorry, started to burp. Excuse me, I'm so rude. So rude. Specifically observed that on symptom inventories, Kohberger chose not to comment on any concerns about himself, and he showed very little insight into his behavior and emotions. In other words, there was very little by way of self-reported symptoms. Consequently, the court struggles to understand why it is necessary to test the validity of self-reported symptoms through personality testing. The court's second and more significant concern is with the use of personality testing to rule out other diagnoses or personality characteristics that may account for the same symptoms. You know, I understand where this is going, but I would actually probably agree, like, even just outside of a court, like where the state's expert is going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you should review it all. And it's interesting that he is so against it.
Very interesting.
I wonder why. The court's second and more significant concern is with the use of personality testing to rule out other diagnoses or personality characteristics that may account for the same symptoms. This has the potential to generate new mental health diagnoses or other evidence outside the scope of Kohberger's Fifth Amendment waiver. While the state asserts that its experts does not intend to explore new diagnoses or mental health conditions, there is a fine line between ruling out other mental health conditions and exploring them. It's true. The danger of that line being crossed is too great and could lead to evidence that could be viewed as aggravating in nature, or at least make it difficult to parse the aggravating evidence from the mitigating. Moreover, considering that the court is allowing the state an extension of time to examine Kohberger and disclose its experts' opinions, time is of the essence. Any new potential diagnoses or evidence uncovered through okay, I was reading 11. So similarly, Dr. Ryan also observed during her forensic. Oh, sorry, it was at the end of page 9. I was even.
I was going to say 11.
We
really skipped over.
The footnote, yeah. Similarly, Dr. Ryan also observed during her forensic psychiatric examination of Kohberger that he did not thrust forward his symptoms in a manner suggesting malingering, and in fact took great pains to minimize and deny psychiatric symptomology. Interesting.
Sure.
Sure, Jan. Anyways, okay, I'll get back to it. Page 10. So any new potential diagnoses or evidence uncovered through personality testing may elicit the need for further testing and rebuttal by Kohberger, as well as significant post-examination motion practice. Weighing the marginal utility of personality testing in this case against the existing time constraints and the timing of the state's motion, considering its knowledge of the scope of the defense's agreement, the court will not allow it. So, no personality testing. However, to equalize the playing field, the court will not allow defense experts to testify about whether Kohberger meets or historically met the criteria for personality disorder or reference the state's failure to conduct personality testing on Kohberger. Good call. I think that's fair. So, in other words, Kohberger cannot use personality disorder or the asserted non existence thereof and the lack of testing for it as a shield and a sword. Yeah, Hippler, tell him.
Tell him.
I meant, right, yeah, right there. Moreover, the court will not prohibit its expert from commenting on the fact that personality testing may have aided in his evaluation, but that testing was not performed by the defense experts nor available to him. In turn, the defendant may not assert or imply that redacted, which is the state's examiner, could have conducted personality testing. This approach strikes a balance between ensuring Kohberger's rights are preserved while at the same time allowing the state a means for effective rebuttal within the time constraints posed by the extension. I think that's super fair.
Yeah.
So C, the Sixth Amendment does not require counsel's presence at the exam. Finally, the state seeks to exclude the defense counsel from its examination, asserting Kohberger has no Sixth Amendment right to the presence of counsel at the examination. It further argues exclusion of counsel is consistent with standard psychology practices and the American Bar Association standards on mental health, which advise that defense counsel should only be present if requested by the evaluator. According to Dr. Redacted, defense counsel's presence would interfere with the validity of the examination. He also points out defense counsel was not present when Kohberger was examined by his own experts. Alrighty, we're going to the next page. So defendant responds that he has a Sixth Amendment right to the presence of counsel during the examination because it is a critical stage in the proceeding, particularly given that this is a capital case and death is different, in quotes. Really?
Death is different, okay?
I really want to be a smartass right now, but I'm going to refrain myself from going there. For Sixth Amendment purposes, he further notes that having counsel present is consistent with the American Bar Association guidelines for the appointment and performance of defense counsel in death penalty cases. The Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution provides in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. It guarantees a criminal defendant the right to counsel during all critical stages of the adversarial proceedings against him. Proceedings against him. The test for whether a stage is critical is whether the accused finds himself confronted just as at trial by the procedural system or by his expert adversary or by both. With regard to court-ordered psychiatric examinations, no Idaho appellate court has expressly held that the examination itself is a critical stage of the proceeding, thus triggering the Sixth Amendment. However, in State v. Payne, it says that a defendant had the right to assistance of counsel as opposed to the presence of counsel during a compelled mental examination. Okay? So by this holding, the court implied that Idaho code examination was a critical stage, but did not pass on the question. In Estrada, the case Payne cited for its holding. The court held that the decision of whether to participate in a psychosexual exam was a critical stage, triggering the defendant's Sixth Amendment rights to counsel. Although the defendant did not assert he was entitled to counsel's presence during the examination, the court added the Sixth Amendment right to assist counsel in the critical stage of psychosexual evaluation. Inquiring to a defendant's future dangerousness does not necessarily require the presence of counsel during the exam. So that's just comparing it to case law and balancing it. So read together, Payne and Estrada suggests that regardless of whether an examination is critical or not, the Sixth Amendment does not provide a right to the presence of defense during the examination. Keeps on going through that law. Sorry, guys. It is really interesting, but I'm sure I'll want the meat. So based on the distinctions drawn in Estrada, keep
You could
going.
go by defendant, however, contends.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I was like, this just keeps going. Sorry,
I
guys.
know.
Don't mean to snooze y'all. I mean, it is interesting, but like you got to follow the bouncing ball, man. Kohberger, however, contends that that Payne is not controlling as it relied upon dicta from Estrada. He notes that Estrada declined to rule on whether the Sixth Amendment mandated. Okay, we're still going through case law. Sorry, guys.
Defendant also contends.
Let's go down to the end of page 15. Sorry, guys. As to defendants, so it's basically going back and forth between different cases, guys, and the judge is balancing those. So as to Kohberger's argument that death is different, implying that more robust Sixth Amendment rights should be applied, and Payne, also a capital case, declined to find the right under the Sixth Amendment to the presence of counsel during an mental health examination. As mentioned, Payne is controlling. That said, the court will allow counsel for both sides to watch the examination through a one-way video feed or some similar method that prohibits them from being seen or heard during the examination. Under no circumstances will counsel be able to interrupt the examination. So, by order, based on the foregoing, states motion for examination of defendant pursuant to Idaho Code 18207 and for an extension of the time to complete the rebuttal penalty phase expert disclosures is granted in part and denied in part. Sorry, guys. Really interesting.
Did we do it?
We did it. We did it.
Crap, that was long.
I know it was a big balancing test, but I can understand why. I mean, mental health is really serious, and I'm glad that the judge takes the time to go through it, you know?
Yes.
I want it to be fair for Bryan.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, this is just the order striking improperly filed record request. So a third party filed this is interesting. A third party filed a motion for access to non-disclosed records in this case because she is not a party to this case. She is not authorized to file pleadings herein, and the motion is hereby stricken from record. The proper approach is to file a public records request as directed on the Ada County website. So did they include?
Who won that?
Damn it, I don't know. Oh, no. Wait. No, that's a certificate. I have a feeling this is like a YouTuber or something.
Interesting.
Hey, they tried, right? Thanks, Justin. Always a great job with you and Shay. Thanks. Are we there yet,
Thank
Mom?
you.
I know. I know. Okay, and then there's just two more. Very short one.
Wait.
What?
I know who that is.
Who?
At the end of that, that's that TikTok psychic.
Oh, that's what they said before. Oh, okay.
That's the one that was in that separate lawsuit. That's interesting. Why would she be after going through that? And remember, she defamed one of the Idaho professors? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's wild. So
It
after
is.
going through all that court stuff, then
She
she
ain't
shows
stopping.
up in this case requesting all the documents.
Yep.
Wild, man.
Wow.
Like, did you not get your sign whenever you got a defamation fucking lawsuit? Like,
They never learn. They never learn.
That's a little crazy.
This is just the order sealing that phase 2 mitigation witness. And then last one. And this is Order sealing reply in support of state's motion for examination of Kohberger's extension of time, complete rebuttal penalty phase expert. Ta-da!
That's it. We're caught up on documents.
We're caught up. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. So, did you guys want to continue watching that shit show?
So, yeah. But I think, all right, but we have to show them. Should we show them the stupid thing first? Or is that like at the end?
No, we should, because after all that reading.
Did you find that one live where we went through those other Justin videos, or was it on the same one?
I think it was on the same one. There was a few, Shay. There was a few times we went through all of them, but they were definitely all. We went all the way back with Justin. We spent an entire live like going through all of his stuff. But I figured we would just start with Kim, and then Justin has to be live on his own.
Wait, hold on.
A lot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interfere. Michelle asked, when is trial set to begin? Jury selection begins in July, and trial is supposed to start in August. They're estimating, I believe, a 3 to 4 month trial. And I lost Melissa. I admitted that I took my gummy, so I'm wondering if we're going to be tickled and laughing at ourselves again.
Oh, we're going to be tickled in a second. So you guys remember last time when we told you Justin somehow was related to every single fucking person in this case? It got very deep, and I said it reminded me of that song from the Stupids, I Am My Own Grandpa. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's that song. And hold on. Yep, because it always does that.
Okay, let's settle everybody. We're on in 5, 4, 3.
Have you ever thought you came from an unusual family? Well, after you meet my guest today, you may want to adjust your standards.
I divorced my wife in order to date her daughter.
Are you able to turn it up?
Is it low for you too?
Twin with her sister.
I've been engaged to 3 of my cousins.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm my own grandpa.
You're your own grandpa?
That's right.
Well, for those of us who've never heard of such a thing, maybe you could explain.
Of course, it's quite simple, really.
Many, many years ago when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her and soon they two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and changed my very life. For my daughter was my mother 'cause she was my father's wife. To complicate the matter, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. My little baby then became a brother-in-law to dad, and so became my uncle, though it made me very sad. For if he was my uncle, then that also made him brother to the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother. My father's wife then had a son who kept him on the run, and he became my grandchild 'cause he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, and it makes me blue, because although she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. If my wife is my grandmother, then I am her grandchild, and every time I think of it, it nearly drives me wild.
This has got to be the strangest thing I ever saw.
As husband of my grandmother, I am my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Everybody! I'm my own grandpa. It's so funny, I know, but it really is so. Hey! I'm my own grandpa.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back after this break.
That is Justin. That, and I'm not kidding, like, as funny as it is, like, Good Night Hope, it really, he is on a very serious level, like, I am related. Do you see this? It says the Chaplins. I'm actually a Chapin. You see right here, it says Chaplin. And the connection is, and he goes into all of these things, and it's like, no way, like, just no way. People.
And you are like a genius for thinking of that. I do remember that.
Spot on. It's spot on. So basically, I'm my own grandpa. That's what he was saying to us.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to this shit show, shall we? And we had left off. God, only knows where we left off. We had left off here, and I'm going to jump back because I remember it's a good place to pause. But are you ready for your shit show, Kim? Because I got another comment. Was it yesterday or today? Kim was right. No, but it wasn't on my live. No, it's on these older lives. Like, don't be mistaken. So it's not like they're just saying it because they heard what I said. No, like they are really believing. And I'm like, right about what? And they never respond.
But I don't want us not say something and say to these kids, look, you're safer if you're together and you go to the police and you say something together, because individually you're not safe.
But
Whatever
again, your daughter hasn't spoken directly to the police to this date, correct?
Correct. And I feel like
speaking
she's
to everyone else's kids, but not your own, who has very valuable information.
God. Yes, I have. And yes. And yes. And I'm not saying that she didn't have things happen and that we didn't have eyes on her the entire time she was at school. We did. The entire time. It's like educating her for second year.
Right.
Or fifth year, right? So we did. So I did take those precautions because, but other kids are just going back to school and they're thinking it's all is good. And the reality is, if you know something, say something. And the reality is, my daughter and her friends did say something. It went through a roundabout way to get to people, but they did say something.
Mm-hmm. So they did say something to you, who brought it to YouTube, but as far as any signed affidavits or willing to go to a police to give a statement, no. But she was urging all of the students to go forward, right? But she wouldn't.
Right.
Oh, I think they took a shortcut. But at least they said something. Dave said something. Unfortunately, he didn't say it before his friend was killed.
Dave.
And I do think that he was killed. Like, I do think that was purposeful. He was released from the hospital and then he died. Harborview is one of the best trauma centers in the world, really. That's where he was at in Seattle. So they don't just let people go. I mean, I guess things happen, so I can't say that. I'm just saying, with everything that's going on, don't you think you'd be extra cautious? Like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
No, I understand those points, and that's why I just keep reiterating the issues that I have, because I can understand what you're saying as far as I want these kids to be safe. I totally understand that. It's everything else that that I've been struggling with.
And you know what, and that's fine. And it could here's the thing, it is second or third hand information. I agree with you all the way through.
Right.
Everything with a grain of salt. I get that. But when we're dealing with children and kids and this kind of, and I can't even call it this brutality, I think, gosh, we have to just extend ourselves. I feel like I have to extend myself a little more and this is not what I do for, like, this is interrupted. This is not comfortable. I'm not used to being people coming at me, but I'm okay with it. I've got a thick skin, and I'm fine doing it if that's my role right now. But I'm not trying
to come at you.
I know you're not.
I'm a very passionate person, and so yes, I could come off aggressive. I'm not trying to come at you.
It's okay.
I'm trying to come at the information or the misinformation.
Right. And that's why I get on the panels to come out. So I came on your panel not because it was comfortable and I wanted to be besties, but I came on it because I want to say to you, this is why. Because I want people, maybe one more person will hear me whose kid might be going over there and they'll sit down and have a conversation with them.
Not that
I want people to say, or I know people are listening. I know that. I know these kids are all listening.
That's what me and Jay have been planning on doing, but every time like a couple of days goes by and it's time to do our next episode, something else pops up. But we've been waiting to do, like, not so much the conspiracies, but what the pro burgers are pushing, which definitely falls into the conspiracy realm. So it's coming. It's like there hasn't been a live yet. When it's time to do the live, okay, there's nothing new going on, so like, let's go back. We're always falling in to more stuff, which I'm not complaining about.
Yeah. We've gotten over it a few times too.
Okay. When you add someone, you don't have to type it. So when you're on your phone and you add someone, you have to literally type their name out, which sucks. If you were on your computer though, and you added someone and you started to type their name, it automatically pops up and it makes it so much easier.
And I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more. If you need me to go with you, walk with you, I'll walk with you. If you need me to talk for you, I'll talk for you. If you don't want to say anything, I will give the information. I will talk to your parents. That's what I've always done with my children and their friends throughout their lives. Eventually, but if it's something that needs to be told, I'm going to tell. So if you need a safe place to fall and a safe place to tell, I will tell for you. That's really.
But I won't tell
because because these kids are not safe. What is going on is not safe. It is so much bigger than them. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm a drama queen. I hope I'm a Lifetime movie, like an after-school special, honestly, because it would feel so much better to be wrong than right. And that is truly the truth. And me calling those kids out, I did it because I want them to come forward. I didn't pussyfoot around. I said it because.
But you're doing that based on that again. You are calling them.
There's pretty good information. But
how would you feel if someone went on a public platform and accused your child, first and last name, of being involved in the murders, and when they say, "Hey, where'd you get that information from?" Well, I heard it.
And you know what I would do? If it was my kid, I'd call them up and I'd say, just like I called up some people for trending my daughter, and I'd say, why are you saying that? What are you doing? Why are you saying that? And then I'd look at my kid, why are they saying that? And I'd have them sit down and have a conversation.
Do you really feel like that's how you'd react? Do you genuinely feel like that is how you'd react?
Well, that's how I reacted with you.
No, I didn't accuse your daughter.
No, you didn't accuse my daughter of anything. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if you called with questions about it, right? And so I came to you. I didn't go around you. I didn't talk about you. I went to you.
That changed.
Right? So yes, that's how I would behave. As adults, as parents, that's how we should behave. And we should set our children down and have a conversation about all the different things that can happen. Yep, we taught them everything they know, but when they get to college, they get.
Yes, this is a local mom who has children that went to the schools in the area, and she had come out and she was very much on all of the panels during Idaho coverage before we had all the information. And she put forward a lot of allegations, including claims that Xana was pregnant, her hand was cut off, Maddie was beheaded, Kaylee's heart was missing, crazy things that she named 5 students, actual students, first and last names, of being involved on the Drunk Turkey show. Just crazy things. And she eventually came up on my panel one night. This is it, because me and Shay would always debunk all of that bullshit. And we're trying to have a respectful conversation with her, but it ends up escalating from what I remember.
Yeah.
Drunk and stupid. They do. They're feral. And then they're out there on their parents' dime for the most part. Some aren't, but these kids on Greek Road typically are. I know. Some kids really have to work to stay there. Most don't. So anybody who comes at me, I'm sorry that if I'm insulting you, I don't mean to be. But for the majority that I know, right, it's cush. It's good time. It's a good time Charlie out there. And they want that good time to continue. They don't want their life interrupted. Their life was interrupted by behaviors. And the kids at Wazoo, even though they were not involved, are aware of those behaviors. They are aware of what's going on in Moscow. There's a reason they don't go to the corner club.
There may be something going on. And I don't automatically make a correlation. Like, again, 2 things. Same thing with Emma, right? She could be allegedly dealing drugs.
Yeah,
She could have even
100%.
been supplying the drugs at the parties at
Right.
11/22.
Right.
Doesn't mean that she has any association to the murders.
Exactly. And here's the other thing about Emma, which really just, it kind of kills me, because this kid's never been in trouble a day in her life. And all of a sudden she gets pulled pop for DUI and then she's in jail for murder. What is going on? Right? She has no signs of ever not being a good kid. But now she's down a rabbit hole. Why? What happened? Who came in there? Who did that? It's like her friend Marilyn, who was upset with her. She was on Lana's show and was with her that night. She was the girl who was with her, and Emma kind of sold her out, threw under the bus. Which, it's, you know, when I'm thinking about it, it's not. I mean, it's not cool, but you know, it's girls or whatever. And the thing is, Marilyn was. I mean, why? Why are these kids? Marilyn's a mom. Why are these kids being put through, like, all of a sudden, these really great kids down a rabbit hole?
The hell is she talking about?
What is happening?
Is she like? She reminds me of like Jen McCabe and the
to our child. And those four kids.
I'm just a soccer mom. Order your mom.
My daughter could have been any one of those girls. There's no difference. I'm sorry, but Greek, they all look alike. They do. They wear the same clothes. They get the same haircuts. They borrow each other's clothes. They act the same way. They love it. They're happy, whatever. And I just think these kids, and I will say that especially those two, are terrified and they are not safe. And I cannot, and I have tried to speak to them through, and I have talked
Dylan
to
and Bethany.
Dylan and Bethany,
they can't speak though. Why would you?
Well, I'm not talking about them. I'm actually talking about the obsession. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But also Dylan and Bethany, I think I want to say that my daughter would not have a choice. I'd have her ass sitting in Steve's living room until she spoke. I think I would if she was present in that home and didn't call 911.
But at the same time, you're saying your child was used as a fucking fake alibi for Jack, yet you're not having her even go to police, sit down and submit a statement. Nothing.
Right.
Sure.
And if you guys remember from last time, so she claims that Chronicles of Olivia, which is dating Steve Goncalves or Jr. now, that like she's supposed to, like, I don't know, kind of do this bidding for Steve and keep the message out there, right? It was weird.
You know how I feel about that. Like, I'm not saying it's fully weird. It's a smidge weird to me. I'm happy if they're happy, though. I just hope it's all with the right intentions.
Well, Olivia and Steve Jr., I think, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I actually think it's cute.
I know you think it's cute. I think it's a little bit weird. I think
I think there's a bonding that makes sense because remember, Kaylee followed Olivia.
Yeah, I'm not looking at him like that.
There's intentions.
I'm looking at Olivia like that, honestly. And that's why I say I fucking hope it's all for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Oh no, they posted about it. It's official. They're together.
It's on Facebook, yeah.
It's Facebook official.
You showed it, right?
No, I never showed it because it just made me feel a little bit weird, honestly. And I didn't want to be disrespectful by putting my opinions out there because fuck my opinion on it, but I just hope it's for the right reasons.
I think the Goncalves family shared it.
The family Goncalves page absolutely did share it after Olivia posted it and they went Facebook official.
Yeah, but I think it's weird the part that Kim is implying that she's supposed to, like, be keeping everything alive, like in anything she finds out, she reports to Olivia, so Olivia will tell Steve.
That's what is even stranger to me. Olivia has a channel, Chronicles of the Olivia, and she is the one who first hosted Kim with a anonymous type an email. Interview.
And she's in that Paramount, thing too. And I sent you that. Like, it has remember that it has the cast of characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I the correlation's weird because even whenever we were talking to Brad, I remember something getting brought up about maybe Olivia even sharing stuff with Howard Bloom. And
Yeah.
that was kind of why I was stuck on this thing when I found out. Now I'll be honest, like outside of kind of the cute little thing of
Yeah,
this, like
knock off the
the meet
cuteness.
cute.
They were cute photos, Shay, but look at it from the outside.
I am, and that's what I'm thinking over here. Like, you know, we have this. I don't want to go there. I want to be respectful to the families. I just think some
See, that's
things
why I
are
didn't ever show
odd.
it. That's why I didn't ever show it, because I knew I'm like, I don't want to be disrespectful. She's dating Steve Goncalves Jr., Kaylee's brother.
Yeah, Kaylee's brother.
And like, listen, I love, and sometimes circumstances bring you together, and I understand that, you know, like it just happens, and I'm a total believer in that. That's why I say I have to hope that this is the right intentions here.
I mean, even like her content has changed too, though.
Yep, but is she going to trial?
I don't know. Maybe getting out of who she was hanging around with before, you know, and doing different things changed her. Maybe it's a good thing. I hope so.
ATS, Steve Goncalves Jr. Do you guys want to see the photos? I'll show the photos. They're public. But I circle back to that email. And in that email, she's saying, I send everything over to Olivia to send to Steve. I'm just saying, you know, so I know how Olivia rolls. She's a great video producer, but the content within it is lies. At least it was. Okay. And so you funneling information from Kim to Steve, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, seriously? So yeah, see, this is why I just don't even speak on it, because it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what happened with my daughter. My daughter didn't even know that 911 wasn't called. Her not wanting to speak is different, not that much different. It's horsing hairs, right? But she doesn't know what happened. She doesn't know who did it. If she did, she would tell me, because she's told me this much.
But then how do you know? And so hold on. Family and friends, thank you. Family and friends says, since Bryan Kohberger might be sentenced to death, can you simply confirm that you know of 5 other people, please do not say names, but 5 other people who were present at the crime? Yes or no?
Yeah, and I can say that not just because of my daughter, but I can say that now. It's going to be allegedly, because I don't know these people, and I have passed the information on to law enforcement and the proper authorities. But I have heard that there was more than 5 other people there, and I'm not going to say that those kids,
thank you, Kate,
that I named were present. What I will say is, the kids I named could have stopped it,
but
they did not know it was going to be murder. They thought it was going to be a shakedown.
But where are you hearing those details from?
That's what's coming from the kids. That's what I'm saying. That verbiage is bizarre. That's where it's coming. That's it. It sounds weird. If 1 and 1 is making 12, then something's wrong. That's where it's coming from. Being a mom, sometimes just being a mom is enough to make a phone call. I'm not saying they did it, but I'm saying.
Oh my God, I need to clip that. That is a
But
Karen.
if I'm not mistaken, sometimes being a mom is just as much as making a phone call.
And so the Karen Reed case, Jen McCabe and her damn 200 phone calls in 3 days, and her whole persona that she has changed for 2.0 season is, I'm just an ordinary mom. I'm just a soccer mom, just a mom.
Just a mom.
And so she says that. I'm like, what the hell?
She is Jen McCabe.
Well, shit.
And I'm going off my memory.
That's okay.
You stated that they were in that, like you specifically said Bryan was outside, that the 2 surviving girls were able to see him from outside, and you stated these people were in the home.
So, okay, so I did say that Bryan was outside because he became the creeper, right? So my actual natural assumption was that it was creeper. I don't even know if he was the creeper that was there. I do believe there were students present who I haven't named, but I do believe that there were students who made sure that they all got to the place they needed to go in order for them to be taught a lesson. I think it got out of hand. I think it was a different lesson they were being taught, a different lesson that these other kids are involved in, because there's parallel crimes. And that's the most I can say without saying something that may, I don't know.
No, I understand parallel crimes. So you think that there is a cover-up of some magnitude going on?
Yes.
By Bryan.
Right. And I don't think anybody intended for these children to be harmed like this. I don't think that. And Bryan, because he's expendable, and maybe because he sent out, I don't know. I have no idea why Bryan. I have zero idea.
But
my only thing is he has no connections to anybody here. Maybe that's why. That's just theory. That's just me saying, why Bryan?
Go for it.
He must have done something. He was there. He's in Orange. He's got a public defender facing.
No, I'm not going to run. I'm going to
Right,
find
and if more were involved, do you not think that Bryan's defense team is going to uncover that?
I
do you
do
not
think
think
they will.
all of the Facebook, Snapchat, all that data is going to be exposed?
Well, I hope so. Yes, I do think that, but I don't think anybody relied upon the fact that the Snapchats were going to come through, because typically with Snapchat, you can't recover them.
No, they're always, in regards, the same way with Vanish Mode and Facebook, you delete it, whatever. They could always access it. It's a liability for the companies. They always have it. What if a murder occurs? Literally,
right?
So they have access to everything.
So as a parent, what I know about Snapchat, and I'm
Kim just inserted herself.
I'm like a tech idiot. Honestly, it takes me 12 hours to text back. Right. And so when I don't answer you, it's because I'm still trying to keep up with the chat and type and text at the same time. And I'm texting like a 2-year-old, which my phone is stuck on because I did that purposely. So to hide who I was, just for the record. Because, and I kills me when you say you're Y-O-U-R and Y-O apostrophe.
It's just only if people are insulting me do I do that.
I know, but I do know the difference, and I'm like, but I can't get it off my phone. So, whatever. I mean, that's just minor. It's just stupid. But I'm just saying that I don't.
She talks a lot.
I guess as a mom, what would you do?
And just let her talk.
Your kids that and honestly, I'm not throwing this back at you. I'm just saying, I didn't know what else to do. This is what the secretary told me to do. I got responses when I'm listening and people gave me whatever, say something incorrectly, then I would correct it, which is right. So then I go up and correct it. And so that's why I do that. But how would you do this? Like, honestly.
I would sure that all of it's being handled. I'd make sure you send it to the defense if you have legitimate information. But to be honest, everything you've told me so far is you don't. You haven't even seen a receipt.
Yay, Carrie!
From the very first thing you stated. So when I say you would send it over, right, that you don't have anything to send over. All of this is just hearsay. Now, if you had actual receipts like the Snapchat information, hand it over to defense. Hand it over to the families if you want to hand it over. I would not be on YouTube, and I would not be. I'm not saying that you couldn't be on YouTube and even, hey, this, I'm a mom, like this is what my experience is. This is what I fear. This is what I want to bring awareness to. I do not agree with the accusations that have been made. I do not agree with relaying information as fact. I have seen you on panels with many different creators, and you'll say, "Oh, I can't say it publicly, but those creators aren't necessarily going to be trusted. They'll take that information and put it out." So I think that that's being irresponsible with information that you deem should not belong on the internet, right? That all that stuff gets back to the families. Do you think details like that, something like pregnancy, something like organs being taken? I don't know where you're hearing that, but that's extreme allegations being made. And I think it's very careless to do that without any hard proof.
I'm not going to agree with you on that because you are correct.
But I still did it.
I guess if I knew what I knew.
Yay, Carrie.
Yay.
Right? You're right. Yeah. I would know better. Not knowing is not a defense, right? It doesn't matter. Not knowing isn't defense. Still harms people. I will forever feel terrible about that. Trusting that my bad, right? So I'm not even. I can't argue that point with you.
What the hell are you even saying, Kim? It's like word salad.
I had gotten blocked from a chat just for asking, "Do you still stand behind it?" When I say that, I'm asking, do you regret it? Do you see that there could be an impact? Were you reacting on impulse? Like, we all make mistakes. I understand that it's a pretty petty mistake, but that's why I kept asking that question.
There's my word salad emoji.
So I stand behind everything I've done because I did it, and I think that some things I should have done 100%. Like just like you said, had I seen you say that, I would have answered you. I will say this: that I have any contact creator that I've spoken with, I've said, don't block anybody. Let anybody ask me any question they want. I don't want to be blocked. Because I don't have to be right. I just have to need people to know they're not safe. Students aren't safe. I will never regret saying these students' names because if they don't come forward, they are in harm's way. And if something happened to them and I hadn't said their names, then what? And maybe that's selfish of me. But I don't.
What can you do? You ruined their fucking life.
Well,
you handed to Ann Miller.
You hand it to the defense. You hand it to the families. Then what, what's YouTube going to do? Because YouTube has taken it, and this is what I mean by there could be a nugget of truth in what you're saying. I absolutely believe that. But it has turned into a shit show, really, with drugs being, maybe you believe that, but drugs being moved underneath the tunnels, popping up at the house, all this
I
stuff.
don't believe it. First of all, the tunnels are not, okay, there are tunnels, but they're just for boilers. They're not for, I think that they have, what I've always said is they have
The
crawl
damn
spaces. The house
boilers.
was built in 3 different sections. There's crawl spaces, stand-up spaces. That's what I've said. And I called the LE, I called the feds and the FBI beforehand. And I said, kids drop like time capsules down in the walls. Look in the walls. And that night is the night you saw those guys go in and get the brown paper bag. Not the marshals, but the, which I don't know who they were. I thought they were the task force. I don't know who they were. But the guys went in and got that brown paper bag. I don't know what night it was. They went that night in and got it.
The marshals or
FBI? Because I was looking at it and I said,
Clay, sorry, Kevin. Do not name people in my chat of who's involved or who was there. That literally defines my entire argument. Mods
we haven't done a Clay live.
That says someone's first and last name as being involved. Do not do that. Respect my chat. And also, you guys, be respectful. You could completely disagree, but no more of the digs, no more of the little petty comments. You can make your argument without that. Please stop making my mod's job really hard. I already have it on 60-second mode.
So Lisa, basically what's going on is, if you were here last time, Kim came on the scene on Facebook and like some of the bigger Facebook groups posting and act like a caring mom, sticking up for the victims. Her daughter went to WSU. She went and chat as WSU Kim mom. She's under here in the purple JK Shro. And basically her, like, my opinion is that like her care turned into fear when an incident happened at WSU off-campus apartments. And that would be the death of Brent Kopacka. And that's when she just went into like fear mode, like protect your kids, hide your wives, kind of crazy shit, like talk. And she started like, joining different channels and paneling, and she seemed to really hook on to like every single conspiracy theory and like tumbleweed. And so there was an opportunity that like she had sent an email, made awful allegations, also to like calling out by name 5 people, like real people, stating that were involved in this crime. Knowing that people that are interested in conspiracies are like holding on to like every word she says, like people are still talking about it. And she even appeared in the Paramount Plus Cyber Sleuths like episode at the end, which was wild. So she's real. Like she said, she is who she says she is, but she has been a perpetuate in a lot of the conspiracies that have spread around this case. And she came into Melissa's this night, jumped on panel, and Melissa let her talk. And then we started asking her some of the harder questions and confronting her with, why are you doing this? Because as we further got down the rabbit hole, we had kind of come across finding a different creator in TikTok that was sharing a lot of these kind of conspiracies directly with Steve, Kaylee's dad. And it's just sad to know that like some of the stuff that's being talked about, even though like families can obviously read it, like it's just being sent to them like with no caution to the wind. So yeah, Kim is like very much involved, and she never went away, and now she's just popping up everywhere. Hopefully that helps. Is that a good recap, Melissa?
That was a pretty good recap, especially for a gummy recap.
Yeah, sorry to ramble. I just thought it may help for those that are kind of like, what is going on here? Like Melissa's letting her talk, but she's also starting to ask her questions about the bullshit. Like, so she was claiming that like, there was like early Snapchats, her daughter received it. Then she tried to say that Jack D, which is Kaylee's estranged, boyfriend at the time, was using her home as like part of his alibi, as well as Adam the bartender. And then Melissa's asking her like about the Snapchats, like, did you go to the police? Like, what's going on here? But she's sitting here on every fucking panel telling people
that's fact. Yeah,
right. Like, and she's
I've
also
seen it. I'm working with the fence. The fence has it. Did it naming people like really bad.
And she's also telling people, I encourage you to go to law enforcement and tell your story. And I'm also talking to the president of U of I, and I am getting the word out here. And it was just wild. So Melissa's like, so all these allegations that your daughter is part of the Snapchat group and all this, like, did you go to the place? Did you? And she's right now being like, no, no, no. So every time she would get cornered in something, she does a tumbleweed and goes off into something else. And being ADHD, it's really hard to follow this bouncy ball. Like,
bitch, that's a pinball. That's not a bouncy ball. That's a fucking pinball. It is everywhere.
yeah, it's wild. And like to sit here and listen to this, just think about this. Since this case started back in October 2022, December 2022 is when she started a lot of the skeptical stuff, like even bringing like the Mormon church into it, the tunnels, the Pablo Escobar drug lords. Like, it's wild.
Wow.
But yeah, this is it. Nobody would ever confront her and ask her, because she spins whenever she feels like her back's against the wall, and people would want her up, and it would get a lot of people excited. They're like, no, it's not Bryan, it's this, it's that. Like, it's just, and it has not stopped. Those theories are still alive. I still see people talking about it, whether they're new to the case or old.
Yep. And I'd play my Kimbleweed, but for whatever reason, it keeps crashing every time I try to play something. So,
okay, so
imagine
sorry for rambling.
No, it was great. Yep. And I can't believe I stayed to listen, but I did. It's a chopped salad. Yep. Aw, thanks, Daryl. I may get a little bit more disrespectful though, so just don't give me full credit just yet.
Melissa has a really big problem.
Go ahead.
Melissa has a really big problem with, like, you know, bringing innocent people out into this that were like never involved.
Yeah, I don't
like,
like
she
that
just
shit.
she does it, like you said, it's never like in my opinion or alleged. Like, she comes at it like it is the whole like,
listen, the internet is dangerous and people were crazy with this case. So when you come out and you take real kids, like, again, young adults, whatever, they're kids, man, and you name them, those are real, and you say their first and last names, everyone is all over finding, they're all over the internet, and you find them, like, and you name them and say that they were there for the murders and shit and involved. The internet is fucking nuts. Are you out of your mind? And the whole point is you did that. And did you ever see a text message? No. Enough with the words out. Like, did you ever? No. Did you ever go to law enforcement? Did you sit down? Did you write a statement? No. So when you like slowed her down and actually got to the meat and potatoes of it, there was nothing. And that is such a dangerous game to be played. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it was awful. She, you know, it was alleging that like Xana was pregnant, which no, that
heads were missing, Shay.
No, fingers were missing, and Maddie's
he was beheaded. Kaylee's heart.
No, she said she was near decapitated and only holding on to a vein, which is not like whatever. No,
she said Maddie was beheaded for a vein. But for a vein.
But yeah, like holding onto a vein. That's it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like, that's wild. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
And they got back to the families,
families.
It's sad. It is sad.
Yep. And she even wrote in the letter, the families don't know this, but you know what? Even if it were true, shame on fucking you.
It is. Like, so to be calm and have to go through this and listen to it now, like, it's wild to have your patience, because probably, like, for me on the other end, like, I'm over here, like, I want to jump in, but like, just let her roll and then ask, because maybe it'll wake some people up.
Yeah.
That this lady is nutso.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly did, Angel. My mod's job really hard. I already have it on 60-second mode. You can argue, just don't be an asshole. Sorry, go ahead.
And here's the thing, and I'm gonna say, I actually really do respect you, because you like you hold no punches, which good for you, girl. Yeah, like, right? I think that's good. And you're setting a boundary, and so I do hope your subs respect that. You don't want that's perfectly. Yeah, that's good. Maybe had I gone there first, to you first, right? It was a crapshoot. I had no idea who I was texting or calling or reaching out to or listening to.
That's great.
None whatsoever. And that's the honest to God truth. So that's where I landed. And it was really hard to go to Drunk Turkeys just because their name. And as much as Daniel and I go back and forth, I adore him. He will still call me. We'll get into it, and he'll text me, and I'll text him back. We don't have to agree. He keeps me in my rails. I feel like it would be the same with you. If you're going to come at me, anybody on here, please do. I welcome the questions.
Well, you could go at the information without taking digs at the person, and that's what I try to focus on. And I've slipped before too. I'm not perfect, but focus on the information. If you don't agree with the information, that's fine. Do not take attacks at whether someone's under the influence or like things like that. Mental health. There's no reason for it. It kind of defeats the entire argument.
It really does. And I will tell you, I don't really.
Him saying it really does, but let me just say to you guys, without getting into details, few months after this, and I have the proof, Kim left me the most nasty, outrageous, egregious, disgusting type of comments, real life type of shit you could ever imagine.
Oh, yeah, that was gross.
That were used in a court case. So, fuck you.
Listen to myself because I hate that accent on the radio. It's vain, I know. But Daniel did speed me up, and so I have learned to speak better. I mean, come out better. What is it? Elocution? Wasn't that My Fair Lady, right? Lessons. Sit looking in a mirror. You have to talk slowly, right? I get it, but I do get wound up because it is a wound up conversation. Like, it matters, but here's the thing: we're talking about it still. And how many months has it been? And how many kids are we not talking about that are missing? And it's terribly sad. This whole how you guys do this on the daily is so sad to me because there's so many kids in harm's way and who are hurt. And I think when I'm done here, somebody once asked if I was going to have a YouTube. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I cannot wait to run. But I feel like I know something, so I'm saying something. So more power to all of you who are saying something. But my whole purpose here is to let these kids know they're still not safe. And so anybody who has questions, they can ask. I still have the same paragraph. There's a few more facts I have because as they get disclosed, I can say that, but I'm not ever going to give up sources like that. If that makes sense.
I'm not asking you to, but
I
think it would be.
But
very
I will sometimes
valuable.
privately. I trust you, and I know you and Lana have your thing. I trust her. I will tell you from the get-go. Whatever. I don't know all of the other stuff. I know there's other stuff.
Shut your
but
mouth.
Lana's
Kim.
been honestly.
I don't even want to get into that.
I know, but I'm just saying sometimes we disagree. And I'm not looking to
bitch
have a girl scuffle, but I'm just saying that she's been great. She's been true blue. She's said the same thing you're saying. Don't say anything to other people on it, but if they are saying it incorrectly, then I think kids aren't safe, right? If everybody thinks that they've got the guy and it's the only guy, and then kids didn't happen again, then they haven't gotten the only guy. And I could have said something to stop it.
That is correct.
And that weighs on me.
While I have you here, are you okay if I allow that? Because the chat's been going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so are you okay if I allow them to ask any questions that they may have?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, if you guys have any questions for Kim, because I'm not going to be able to think of everything on the moment because I did not prepare for this. And there are tunnels underneath Moscow. Again, the issue that I have is Rory left out. He took the source of a video, left out the full article, and made it appear a way it wasn't. That's a type of crap I do not like. Put out the full context, because guess what? If it's the truth, you do not have to crop things. You do not have to alter things. It'll all just line up perfectly.
Right. And I agree with that. I agree with that. It should come out exactly how it's been seen. If you're going to leak it, then leak it entirely. Don't change.
Shay, there have been only a few times in my life where I've ever met anyone who talks more than me. Like, she's making me seem like I can't get a word in, and it's me.
It's wild.
It is.
Dude, because people can figure that out that are smarter than I maybe can't, but I don't even look at them closely enough. I don't even pay attention to them or the audios or any. I mean, every once in a while I'll look at something and think, oh, right. Like, you can't even see Ethan's Jeep in the Linda Lane things. If you can show me Ethan's Jeep in Linda Lane, maybe I'll believe it.
Hippie Chick wants to know who is not safe and why.
I think that the students on Greek Row are vulnerable because there are people out there who take advantage of students on Greek Row, who see them as big money and they have money to spend and they pull them in and kids they're young, they're green, they're new, right? So they get involved in stuff they don't know. They're actually the perfect victim, because I do think that people adults are taking advantage of kids and making them victims to suit their purposes. Mm-hmm. Even just selling drugs, or in Seattle we have this drug, it's a zombie drug. What is that?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
I didn't even know that. Well, they just busted that whole ring, right? And so fentanyl. So I think that people who've been there a long time take a lot of advantage over these children, these kids. And I think that
good night, Phoebe.
It's not. It's coming from the border. And this is not about border issues. It's not about border issues. If you get in, I think you get to stay. That's the thing. One of the ways you get to stay. That's how I feel about it. But I do think there are nefarious people coming in, and I don't know if you call it the cartel. I don't know if you call it the mob. I don't know what you call it, but they have bad intentions for people, and that's not okay. And especially our kids, and they get our kids in the pocket because literally, honestly, I don't really check. I don't really check my kids, accounts. I don't, and that's how most kids every girl are, unfortunately. Right. And I think that it's really important to watch kids.
Such a long answer for who's not safe. Rachel says, basically, are you coming on YouTube to ask for people's help in finding the truth?
Maybe. I would love somebody. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because I want the kids to come forward and be helpful, but I want parents to know the kids aren't safe and to have a conversation with them. So yes, I guess I am asking for help.
Okay. The Blackthorn says, how does the defense and law enforcement have anything in evidence if you don't allow your child to speak with them? You said it's in evidence.
Because I gave over the record. They have the paper receipts, the Snapchats, the cloud, however that looks. I'm not quite sure. They just have the Snapchats. They have copies of them.
No. I gotta jump back because I want you to understand. This is where Daryl. This is where Kim, when we pushed on this topic, like she really jams up. Okay, so I want you, and I have her on 125. So I want you to really hear the like how the way she's really jammering. Please tell us. You say you haven't spoken to law enforcement, right? You haven't given over this information yet. You're saying that it's in evidence. How the hell you didn't know that? Yeah. She is just jumping around. And because that's why, ma'am, like your body physically fights you when you're lying. It's very interesting. I love like the body language and communication. That is her body struggling with lies coming out. Okay. In evidence, if you don't allow your child to speak with them, you said it's in evidence.
I found
because I gave over the record. They have the paper receipts, the Snapchats, the cloud, however that looks. I'm not quite sure. They just have the Snapchats. They have copies of them. They were able to recover them, and not just my kids, all of them. My understanding is all the receipts are there. All of that is there. Okay.
40 Love Style says, what kids are you speaking with? How many of them? And how did you get in touch with them?
I did not reach out to them. If they're my child, if they went to Wazoo and I ran into them, I reached out to them. But at UI, I did not. Any student from UI reached out to me, and I'm not going to give that information. I've given it to the authorities, though.
Okay. And good night, Curious Dreamer. W. Smith says, do you think that this was drug related?
I think drugs were a parallel crime, but I think they were. Yes, there's drugs involved in this, but I don't think it's the ultimate goal.
Layla says, why don't you go and try to get your points on channels that are retired law enforcement or lawyer channels? She would be interested in what their perspective is on what you're saying.
So here's the thing with, it's kind of like mainstream media. They want to stick to a narrative. They are loyal. I've messaged Judy Run before, and I'm not calling him out. He's a lovely man. Messaged him before, and I have, and I tell them, and I've spoken with mainstream media, and they've texted me, they've messaged me back. There was only one person from mainstream media that was actually in Moscow when the thing went down with Kopaka, and I immediately called her because I wanted her to tell me my kid was good, and she did. She went there, and I did learn that because they want you to say what they want you to say what works for what they want.
What?
It works for them. It's not like, it's not pretty. It's not maybe true. It could be wrong. That's what I'm saying to people is I could be wrong. I would really
walked away to get a pizza I threw in, and where'd Shay go? Did Kim yeet Shay away? The hell happened? I'm sure she'll come back.
I really like to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm just a dramatic mom out there, but that's not what mainstream media wants to say. What you're going to say, and then have you say it, and I'm not going to do that because it's not true, or it's not the whole truth, and we have enough things. I mean, I would love to sit with Jennifer Coffendacker and say to her, because I don't dislike her. I don't think she has bad intentions. I think she's intelligent, but I don't think she has all the information, right? And how would she? Because nobody's given it to her, and she's FBI, and she believes in her profession. She believes in the FBI. That is who she is, right? So
this is Kim, and I'm not a Coffin Daffer fan, but this is Kim saying, like Coffin Daffer, she just doesn't have all the information, like, so everything she's saying, don't listen to the FBI agent, no.
So that's where it's not that I don't want to, because I do call. I have no problem calling Quantico. That's where I call, and I'm not even lying when I call the FBI now, because I don't know where I'm getting. And I always ask them, have you put me to Idaho or Pullman or another state, or am I speaking to the main headquarters? And it's the main headquarters.
Vic says, are you in touch with other parents experiencing the same as you? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever think you're doing more harm than good by speaking to YouTube?
I pray every night I'm not.
Okay.
I wear that weighs heavily on me. Am I doing the wrong thing? Because I can overspeak and I can be in the middle of a moment dealing with my kids or whatever, and maybe not fully focused. So I've learned to just stay focused in the moment that I'm having a conversation with people and have that conversation. But I'm a mom. At the end of the day, I'm a real estate broker, but I'm also a mom. And that's what,
I'm like trying to scroll through to find the questions.
While you're finding your questions, I have to tell you, I'm really sorry that people didn't let you ask questions. I really, really wish they would have, because I really would have answered them.
People, again,
I know, but
some people like, they make their following on. It's juicy, it's gossipy, but you can't get mad if I'm going to call it out and debunk it. I thought that's what it was about, the truth, right? You get mad at someone because they could debate, and I say it all the time. If I say something and it's debunkable, debunk me. I'm not going to get offended about it. All right, let's eliminate it now and look at something else.
But nobody's right all the time. Everybody's wrong sometimes. A lot of the time, we're mostly wrong. It's a collective, I think, right? And it keeps it on. If it's keeping it on page one, then, and you're debunking me, great. You're still talking about it. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't be stuck. Nobody should be. If somebody blocks you, and I will make sure if I ever speak on panels, because I'm trying not to, because I don't have much more to say. Sometimes I'm asked stuff. And I do understand, and I don't understand why. What people wanted me to come up, because I'm not dumb. Obviously, I saw the numbers, right? I get that. My husband explained it to me. I didn't really get it at first. I didn't realize anything, but not that it matters. More power to you. If you're a good guy and you're doing the right thing, I'll come up and have a conversation with you. If it makes your life better and it keeps this on the forefront, okay. But if you say something wrong, I'm going to correct you. If you've misquoted me, I'm going to correct it. And if I have more to say, I'll correct it. And if I've been wrong, and I have been wrong before, and I can't remember exactly when, because I don't have my notes in front of me, but I know I've been wrong.
Your notes?
Because why is it important that you let social media know that you have given stuff to law enforcement when you can't speak about it? I think that's what she's trying to say.
Because kids are on social media. Their parents are on social media. People are on social media. We no longer have, I don't even have cable anymore. My husband said, we never have the TV even on. Why don't we just, I think we have Roku or something. He goes, it's like, So yeah, of course. I mean,
I realize Roku has TV channels.
Love Roku. That's how people communicate. Mm-hmm. Kids aren't going to hear me on the news. They don't have the news. Kids in college don't have television.
Bitch, shut up.
They don't watch the news. They watch Twitter and YouTube.
You guys wait, there's more.
They do those things. They're not. They don't. My daughter had a projector at school, and it came from her iPhone. So they're not watching the news. It's not their go-to jam. They don't want to know.
It's wild.
And I was told to go here, and that's how I learned that, by the way. I didn't, that wasn't some discovery I made on my own. I'm not.
He's still stranded with his SOS, Daryl. Okay. I'm just scrolling through.
And I'm
because I don't want to have, multiple people up against, like, respectfully, like, that's not what I don't like to outnumber people in that type of way. So you
I'm
can
okay
ask
with it
from the chat. I don't know what she's going to come up to ask.
So I'm okay with anybody coming up to ask. If somebody wants to ask, I stand behind everything I've said. I'm doing nothing in any nefarious way. I don't want to be known. I don't want that. But I do want these kids to be safe. And they're going back to school next week. Rush starts next week. And that's terrifying. And I know they're not my kids, but aren't they kind of all of our kids at the end of the day?
Yeah,
we all responsible for them?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I have a daughter around the kids' age, so I completely understand.
Right, and it's the thing, right? And it's scary.
So, but even if you're focusing on the kids, right?
Right.
The kids can't do anything as far as actually making moves. So is your goal to not have kids go to that area?
Kind of, yes. And it's not because I don't like them. It's because I think they can go globally until they solve this crime.
What?
And they have to know that they're not solving this crime. They have to do better.
How do you know that they're not?
Because
do you think they're going to have open communication with you?
I feel like Washington State University should have.
Well, Washington State University isn't going to even have all that information. This is the FBI.
Even Kopalka. Yes, right. Yes, because the FBI is there, and my kid is a student there, and she had information, and 4 children died. Yes, I think they're 5 minutes apart. They're not competing schools. Washington State University competes with University of Washington, and U of I think it's I want to say it's Boise State or a different state school. They are friends. These students. They hang out together. They're 5 minutes apart. I mean, I don't care how many miles you are. By the time they speed that way, it's 5 minutes.
Please understand what she just said right there. She believes the FBI should have open communication with her because she's a mom, okay? And these kids go to these schools and they're not even competing. Like, they're on like the same, like, so there should be an open, even though there's a gag order and the families of the victims don't get information, but she, as a mom, deserves to have this information. So if they had something, I would know. Okay? I'm on the bowling league. Okay? I'm on the PT fucking A. Do you know, to get that roll? Do you know how many upside down pineapple cakes I had to fucking master? Kim, this is a quadruple homicide.
She's like, I got a library card too.
Yeah, like what the fuck? I don't understand. I don't understand.
It's a 5-minute drive when they're speeding.
It's a 5-minute drive. You can't beat that on traffic. Waze can't even figure out a closer route. Like, what are you talking about? Answer the direct question, Kim. Jesus.
That's why she has the tumbleweed. We call her Kimbleweed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just the stories, it's the rambling. It just keeps going and going. And it's like, it's annoying, but it's also funny. If you just listen, you're like, oh my load. Like, things just don't make sense. They don't math.
You shouldn't have to try this hard to put it together.
I know. I was looking at some of those old messages that I got back when she was in the Facebook groups, when she was on the thing about the church. Man, she would post some crazy psycho shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's disturbing.
Yeah. Mental illness runs rampant. One day we're gonna see a Kim. Sorry, I got my giggles. The same way we're reading like Bryan's evaluation. One day we're gonna be going through Kim's. Okay.
Dude, listen to one of these posts that she did, guys. I'm gonna read this. She's just responding to somebody, and it makes no sense. I read the whole post, and I was like, "What is this even about?" So Kim responded to somebody, and she said, so okay, this lady said, I have a hard time with this scene, but if you're ready, I'll be right here. Like, she was asking Kim questions about whatever she was saying about a scene. So this is Kim's response. So and so, they had 8 hours. Oh, you mean now? Of course they do. They are hiding under their mommy's skirts like impotent little imps. All they will ever be able to do.
Impotent little imps.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's writing this in the Facebook groups, guys. Mm-hmm. And it says, impotent little imps. All they will ever be able to do is watch from the outside, but they were never good enough to matter. No one will miss them except maybe their big prison daddy. But you know what happens to boy bitches who kill women and can't even close the deal. I give them 4 weeks in prison, and I hope their mamas hear the scream, and I hope their mamas look over their shoulder forever. What the hell is that?
I give that comment 1 out of 5 stars. And only that she gets the one for the impotent little imps.
Yeah, and it was actually the lady that was I found the other one the lady sent. I don't want to get into all of it, but she was saying, she said, but you're speaking of your mother. So-and-so is not. Your mother is Satan's bitch whore. And you're the product. This is when she's on her church thing, guys. She was blaming the churches. It is wild. Like she went from like, I care about these poor kids, like look at all the promising things they had going in their life, to completely like, oh my Lord. And on a Paramount series, guys. Just sitting there like, and it ends like in this mysterious thing, like you're going to find out anything about her and all the shit she said in season 2. I was like, this is whack. Remember that feeling? Like she is the fucking series. I wish, will you show that damn picture? Because that's really just her sitting there. And she's like, I'm Kim.
In season 2.
I mean, she's like, seriously, and everybody goes, oh, it's WSU Kimba. And then Dave is sitting in a fucking shadow still. Like, Dave never came out, but Kim Bomb does. I mean, and the thing about Kim, too, which is wild, is you never knew what stream you would click on and she would be on, because she doesn't ever use Kim. She uses weird things like Purple JK Schroes. And then she, like, even joined. I felt so bad because it was funny listening. Like, she came on Daniel's, remember, after the Paramount thing. And Daniel actually think he did pretty well with her because she started going way off and he was like, no, ma'am. But she was... She came into some like other guy's name. She's like, I don't know how to change the name, and it was said like Craig or something. But you know, it's her voice, and it's the shit she spews.
I'm laughing so hard because you're very accurate, but you said, and then you got Dave over here sitting, and he's still a fucking shadow.
He was.
It's so true. We never got the Dave reveal in that series. He was still a literal shadow. That's all you saw.
It is wild, man. That's exactly how they end it. They show Kim, and she's just sitting there, and this is the pose.
And this is all we got. And we only tuned in for Kim.
Yes, Kim.
And then it ended like season 2.
Everybody's like, they show Kim. And it was like, you got to the end. You're right. And it was late. I was trying to be loud. I was like, that's it? Like, that's it? Like, oh, the shit you did. Tell everybody. You are just your own like case study, ma'am. I can't. It ends like this, just Kim looking out like, I'm just a mom.
I'm just a mom.
I'm just a mom.
Sometimes all you have to do with being a mom is make a call.
But then, guys, you heard those messages I read earlier, and this is how they leave her
You
thing.
impotent little imp.
You impotent and you skank whore, Satan's
You
bitch whore.
Satan whore.
Like, what the hell is going on here? She inserted herself in this case, and then there were so many other ones. So I'm so excited we get to go over all these. But Kim is one that is an enigma. Justin and Kim are enigmas to me. They're wild.
Oh my God. She's in the Sebastian Rogers community dog defender, and her name is Words Can Be Used as Weapons. How ironic. How fucking ironic. Honestly, everyone needs mental health. It's really concerning. And just since I have it all the way up, you guys, this is the photos of Olivia with Jack Jr.
Yeah, so you see Steve in the very back, like hugging a buddy. So yeah, that's the mom, and then you can tell it's the Steve Jr. Because he's got the little stash now too.
Yeah, Chrissy, Olivia, and then why does it always freeze up, man?
Yeah, I was showing like the family shared like her post, and then I like the next one. I think it's cute of them.
Yeah, it's cute as hell.
That's how she posted it. So she just did it on her things that I love you, and that's all everybody found out.
And we're like, oh my God. And yeah, I fell for it for a second thinking that was Steve Sr.
Oh.
Dropped my heart, lost my shit, and then realized, okay, we hold on, it's Junior. Okay.
Yeah, and I think I even recorded the video. See, she did a little video at the bottom. It says, we hung out once and have been inseparable since.
Yeah. A little bit weird.
But
Yeah.
okay.
So Olivia is a creator. She first interviewed the family, if you guys weren't around, and Kaylee actually followed her on TikTok, and her family knew that. So she did the first interview with the Goncalves family. So.
But she also did the first interview with Kim.
She did. She did. Him.
So I don't know, man.
And Kim has been so interesting too, because her showing her face, because there were a lot of people that thought Kim was somebody else.
No.
Like she
Kim was
has
always
had
Kim.
people.
We always said that.
Right. She's definitely Kim. It's just not I don't know what it is. I have no idea why you insert yourself in a fucking case.
Yeah. I don't know, man. All right, let's go back to Kim's shit.
Okay. Sorry for my yelling.
All know,
you're fine.
like, they all have an opinion or whatever, but they're all friends, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, my kids have friends who are still there at school. Kids that I know that are still at that school. There's kids at the U of I that I know that went to school here that ate lunch in my kitchen every day during high school because they were friends with one of my other kids. I mean, you know, and here's the thing. And I know it's not about money, but I've sent 5 kids through that school. You know what that looks like? A whole lot of cash.
Okay.
You owe me that. Just like Steve said. I get what he was saying.
Right.
I sent my kid to you and you're lying to me.
Yes.
Tell me the truth.
Yes, but you aren't owed answers for this trial, for this investigation, especially over the parents of the victims. You aren't owed anything.
Exactly.
And I understand you put that level of trust in, right? But you aren't owed this information, and to assume that they aren't looking into this, to assume that they maybe didn't search down every avenue you're saying, and guess what? It came back with nothing. Just because they're not
Melissa.
Yeah.
Did we just predict ourselves again?
We always do.
Yeah, you ranted in your present self, and then now your past self is ranting on her.
I manifested the past, or the past manifested me. One or the other. But we just basically what we learn is years later, and we still see the same old shit. We're just saying the same old shit, okay? Yeah,
And
no one knows you anything.
Oh, guys, and then we found out, which when we get to Dot, that apparently, like, even Kim is talking to the other trolls behind the scenes. Like, Kim is, like, I don't know, the grandmaster of the trolls right now. It's
Because
wild.
any other troll that came forward validated her.
Right. They all validated Kim.
When you say silly, my father used to say silly. But I will tell you, it's not. I'm saying, like, with Kopaka, that guy was shooting up my son's side of campus. My kid was there on that side of campus. He wasn't evacuated. He wasn't woken up. Most of those kids in that dorm weren't woken up. And I called them at 3:30 in the morning. When they call me, it's not related. And the thing was, I was hopeful. I thought, oh, is this the guy? And he's gone, which is sad. And I understand all of the other background information, but he did it. It makes sense. It would be like, right? Nothing to do with it. Nothing to see here. And then we have a dead body in the middle of Union Hall. Nothing to see here. Not related to anything. Then a teacher dies. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Then 3 students die after the 4 in Idaho. Suicide and ODs. Now, the students went crazy because they said that was the last kid that was found hanging.
Real quick, for those that may not know, WSU and Idaho, as of probably the last 5-ish years, there have been some deaths in their sorority and fraternity, some for different reasons, but specifically the weekend, I think that they had that parents weekend. They were supposed to be dry, like they weren't drinking, and that was Xana's dad was down visiting Jasmine. They have a weekend where they don't drink at all on campus because it was in honor, I think, of a student that was going through like the rush process. I don't know if they were hazed or not, but I do believe they died of alcohol poisoning or something, right? Something like that. Yeah. So she's very much aware, like her daughter's in these sororities. So like all these little things that are happening, like they're wearing at her. And I feel that as a mom, I get that. But this hits a point where it's like she starts like taking on the victim's family's pain in a way that's just something I've never seen before. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if that was just worth explaining, but that's like It's not just that, like, there's things that are happening that are real, but they don't relate to her. She's like manifesting it to like it being so personal.
Yeah.
In the courtyard, a kid from a different country, Kenya or something, found hanging in a courtyard. No autopsy, no information, not even, we found out from the kids.
What the fuck?
This school is not being transparent. When a
What is she
child
doing?
dies on those campuses, parents are owed the right to know their children are safe. We are sending high school 18-year-olds who've lived in their homes.
That promise is not guaranteed. Nobody can make that promise.
I know, I'm not looking for a promise. I'm looking for honest. I'm looking for real answers and truthfulness and transparency. I don't need to know what they were depressed from, but I need to know how many students. Do you know how all it is? It's either an overdose or it's a suicide. Nothing else. Well, that's just not true. It's just not true. Lacing drugs with fentanyl, that is a murder. They had 2 people in custody for that crime of a UI student who was present or friends with the students who were murdered. And he was a journalism major in a frat. That's just too, I'm sorry. Maybe I am a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. But I'm just saying.
Yes, you are.
In my mom brain. That's what I'm saying. They're not honest. You said to me, Chief Fry or whatever the other guy was, you said, we don't know who did it. We don't know why it happened. We don't know who it is. We don't know anything. But everybody's safe. Are you kidding me? Am I too? No.
I don't disagree with that, you know.
And then they're saying, and then at that point, and they were livid. And if anybody's going to, and I will tell you, do know this for certain because I was told this for certain, that they did not want the FBI in there in the middle of it. And the Brady Giglio, it's not Brady, it's a Giglio. And the first responder who was planning his vacation when the crime occurred, and I'm not saying that's his fault.
Yes.
Please don't misunderstand me, but he goes because it's a quiet night. How is it a quiet night if you just had the drug dog out earlier in the evening and some kid stole a sign and some kids got MIPs? We have more reports from the night of that, from the 12th to the 13th, than ever before in Moscow.
Are you sure about that?
I think, yes, I actually feel, I could be wrong, but I do think that now more calls, I don't know, reports, actually where they actually write a report, because that never happens, because the colleges don't write reports, because reports go against their
what is she talking about?
Rating for like top colleges where to send your kids, so they opt not to write reports. That's and I was told
Angel.
that by told me that, but that's why they don't enter those reports typically. But they show up, right? They don't write reports.
Mm-hmm.
So am I sure of that? I'm not, but I do know I saw a plethora of reports for that evening.
Right, but that's why it's important to look up.
Well, I did look it up, and I'm not going to back it up. I'm not going to say 100%.
Am I sure of that?
Right?
No, I'm not.
I did look it up. I do feel comfortable feeling this way, but look for yourself. Just go. Everybody can look for themselves. That's what I'm telling you. Don't take my word as law or religion. I'm not saying that.
No offense, but I don't take any, and I advise nobody take my word either. Back it up.
I don't. Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna have to there's nothing. I don't think at this point anybody can show me anything that would make me believe something is not awry, unless I don't know. Truly, so I hear what you're saying. I mean, I believe that people are well intended and have good intentions. I think you have good intentions. I think your intentions here are good. I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't. I would be like, you're you are well intended, and I respect that. We don't have to agree. We can disagree forever, but that doesn't mean we have to take each other's word for fact.
Nobody should take anyone's word for fact.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get down to. Everything that's been stated. Right. What I'm pulling out of this entire conversation with you is everything that has been stated is 100% not verifiable so far. That doesn't mean none of it can be true.
Correct. And I'm going to yes,
but none of it is fact.
Right. Am I going to yes? So am I going to swear on my children? I believe my child. I believe what I know to be true from what I've heard to be true. I don't expect anybody else to believe me. I just want everybody to be careful. I want kids to talk to their parents because somebody else is going to be harmed. These people send messages and they mean it. This one got out. I do truly believe. I don't believe those kids I mentioned knew what would happen. I don't think Dylan or Bethany knew what would happen.
Yeah,
I believe they were all sucked in by people who are taking advantage of kids on Greek growth. And I don't think it's just Pullman and Wazoo. I think there's a plethora of campuses that are going through the same thing.
But again, can't both be true and have zero correlation.
100%.
There is, some type of drug movement
Sure.
happening and kids at that age, because that's a perfect age group to target.
Oh,
college,
sure.
And it has nothing to do with murders.
100%. Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Amber says, if it comes out in trial that what you are claiming is not true at all, will you apologize to the people you have accused?
100%. Yes. Yes, absolutely I will. Without question.
Oh, I hope she
I have no
does,
problem saying
Melissa.
I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry. I want to be wrong. And I know people don't believe that, but I do. I don't want to be.
Were those 5 people
I
indicted,
don't want to be doing
Melissa?
this. This is, you know what I mean?
No,
I don't want this
they
to
were not.
happen. But yeah, 100%. I'll come here first and say, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
I'll be waiting. Wouldn't it be safer to not put the names out when you don't know for certain? You could have easily said, hey, I've heard and I do believe that there are 5 other people involved versus these are the people.
Right. I could have. Right.
To go back in a circle.
And I'm going to just say to you, and my only reply to that is that I wanted those people to know you might be in danger. You are in danger. I believe you are in danger. And I'd rather have to say I'm sorry than I was right. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I don't agree with it though, but it makes.
You don't have to agree with that at all, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if I go up and I say I'm sorry,
that's why I think she's
I'm sorry
just
I said that.
panicked.
I was worried for you.
What'd you say?
That right there is why I think she panicked, and manifested some shit. That, sole underlining reason. I really do think that she's worried about safety. I think she has those fears. And the way it fucking manifests is something I've never seen before. I believed her on that. Not all the bullshit she was saying, but the fact that, she's in fear of safety, And I think even whether it was Bryan was caught or other things were solved, I think it's the fear of the unknown for parents, When
I think
I just tried to understand.
In my opinion, I think probably on a very tiny scale, and I'm about to say something I don't usually say, but on a very tiny scale, you're probably right. And I think it's induced by probably a shit ton of Adderall on top of it. That's
and wide. She would drink, remember? She would get drunk. The wide.
So I believe she has ADHD, but hey, let me be clear. You could have ADHD, and when you are prescribed Adderall at the appropriate doses, it won't make you wired, but you can absolutely abuse it and it can still make you wired because she bounces around. And as weird as it is, I can follow her when she's bouncing around, probably because I'm already bouncing around. But that shit is like an Adderall induced fucking psychosis. That's what I take it as. So yeah, probably that real concern is underneath there, but this is like crack. Okay, sorry. And again, my opinion, allegedly, it's like crap. And I don't usually ever say something like that, but I gotta be real here. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, it's wild. I say I'm shocked, but I don't know.
It's you could be shocked and then still at the same time not shocked, because I feel that way all the time regarding things. Yeah, she's that's what it is, and it's like, oh shit, and I have ADHD, and you do too, and I'm like, shit, look, this girl, slow down. But you could tell her brain, it's coming all in like that. It's in, the fact that she can't stay on one consistent path. But I think naturally she probably is like that, but it is being exasperated by outside influences.
Yeah. I think too, if she, for me, I'm ADHD, and I know that sometimes there can be some paranoia in that when your mind gets real busy.
Absolutely. Kind of similar to a schizophrenic episode. ADHD comes with it. A lot of these disorders have very overlapping characteristics and traits. But
which is why I understood that
episode a bit too. Yeah, absolutely. And it can induce those because even when you're like that, it induces symptoms. And when your heart starts to race and things like that, it's the same symptoms of an anxiety attack. So your body can sometimes produce symptoms based off symptoms, and so things like anxiety and paranoia happen just from when your body is exhibiting those symptoms.
Yeah, and there's also like you can hyper focus and become obsessed with something, and I think she became obsessed with this case.
Oh my god, but it's so true. I feel like she's digging through the bottom of her makeup bag and tearing up her.
Oh, it gets worse. Remember, whenever like people are like trying to tell her to get off, like it's like that crinkle paper sound. It was Angel D was saying. It was bad.
I think that's far better than not saying anything and something happening to them. Because the reality is, Kaylee didn't have to be there. She didn't have to be there.
So
she's gone for 2 weeks.
Right. So if this does come out in court differently than what you're alleging, are you going to follow up with law enforcement aside on the other concerns that you're sharing?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Just because I actually thought once my son left and went to a different school and my daughter graduated, I thought, which she's actually, and I'm going to be really clear because somebody's going to Google it. She's got 3 credits or left to go, and she's doing them now. They let them walk, though, with credits left over. Just so she might not be listed, but she's there in her camping gown. So I just want to be really clear there. But
we are not looking into your daughter.
Campus. But yes, I will continue to follow up because I thought I'd be done, and I'm not. But there's other kids there and other kids going there, and I have grandchildren. And Washington's a great school. It's a great Washington State University. When people say, why did Bryan go all the way over there? It's got one of the best behavioral science colleges in the country. It's a great school. It has so much to offer these students. My daughter would not have stayed if she weren't Greek. I mean, it really was a great fit for her. So the parents are great. I mean, we had 5 of 7, attended. Well, I guess 4 because one finished at UW. But at the end of the day, yes, I will.
Up, your audio cut out.
I'm still here.
There you are.
Okay. Sorry. Sometimes when my phone rings, I will. I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to continue to say something.
I think you have a great concern for children and kids and the campus that your kids go to. I do encourage you to have a voice and make parents aware of some of the situations that you described, because I do understand the realness of some of the substances and stuff that do go around colleges. Doesn't mean it, in my opinion, at this point, is related to this crime. So I think that, had I met you a long time ago, I'd probably give you a little bit of a flashing sign, because all you have is your name and your word. You don't want to lose your credibility. But I think from where it sounds like you're coming from a concerned mother, that part is definitely genuine.
Yeah. And it is. And the thing is, how can any of us know for certain? Because sometimes things are still beyond our often I think, how could somebody do that? Thank God I don't know, because I'm not capable of it. I think a lot of it's beyond our capacity to understand, because we're not capable of what I'm terrified is going on. And I'm hoping it's not.
Are you concerned with everything that you've repeated? And when I say repeated, because it's what you heard, getting back to the families and the impact that may have on them, knowing that there's a good chance it may not be true, but the impact on the families is going to be the same no matter what.
So I will just say that the families know if they want me to shut up, I will.
You stated you haven't spoken to them, correct?
But they do know. Yes, I have not.
But again, we're going through that. Hey.
Yeah, but I'm not going to speak with them. Right. So here's the thing. I'm not going to invade their pain. But yes. I mean, Daniel's been called. There's a reason people reach out to Daniel and Lana. And I'm just going to say that if Steve said to me, or said to this, well, Olivia and Steve, I mean, everybody has this thing that Olivia is not. Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia is whatever. She pulled it down for whatever. It's not true. She and Steve have a really great friendship or relationship and contact. And so if Steve needs to say something, he'll tell her, and I'll answer. And if I need to say something, I will send it the same way. It's a better way to do it, because I don't want to invade their pain. I don't want to invade their privacy. I don't want to do, and they know if they want me to shut up, I'll shut up, and I will, without question. And they know that. And the rest of the family, what? Excuse me.
I'm so sorry. I was going to ask, have you done an interview with Olivia?
Have I? Oh yeah, it's out there. I mean, it's out there. She pulled it. She pulled it down. Everybody said she pulled it down because it was whatever, but that's not why she pulled it down.
Okay, I don't think I got to see that, so I wasn't aware.
It's okay. And so it was right. So when I spoke with Daniel, Olivia reached out and I spoke with Olivia, and then Olivia and I spoke, and Olivia's done interviews with Steve and the family.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a good relationship. And I will say this, Olivia, I know people give her a hard time or whatever. She's a very smart, caring, diligent young woman. And she's a wonderful daughter to her mother, who I've met. And I will just say that if Steve said, shh, Kim, I will shh. But to date, he has not. And so I will not until he says to. And I'm not saying he's giving me permission to talk. I'm not saying he's heard everything I've said. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is that I would not, if one of the families came to me and said, don't, I won't. When I said about somebody being pregnant, it was not, it was taken out of context. I did not listen to the rest of T-Rev's, and I'm going to say T-Rev. And look, he's a young kid, more power to him. Whatever.
Those were your words, right?
I do not know I haven't listened. I'm not going to listen. Probably. I don't know.
You don't know?
I didn't listen to everything you read. I don't know.
I didn't listen to one thing on T-Rev's. I saw the screenshot.
Oh, then maybe it was. Then it was. And I'm gonna tell you what I said. But did you read the beginning, the part of it where it was
the full thing released?
The full thing. So he wasn't. I trust. And when I spoke with him, and I said to him, I will tell you what I know because I do need to speak. I wanted to speak to Detective John because who do you speak to, right? When you have all of this. Well, yeah, okay, but then okay, I can make
fair, and I don't know Detective John.
Right, lesson learned.
Do you even know Detective John's a detective? I could put Detective Melissa right now.
Trust me. Okay, so I will tell you right now, life is a lesson that I learned, unfortunately, and probably caused harm to other people. I will always carry that. That was not my intention. My intention was for where to go. That was my intention. And that is on me, and it is my fault, and I blame nobody but myself. And I am forever sorry. And I can forever not take it back. And I wish I hadn't. And if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. And that's all and I'm sorry. That I learned.
Yeah. Do you think it should take the family having to reach out and ask you to stop?
Well, I think that with the family's feeling quite silenced, and it kind of losing traction on the front page. I think that it was a purposeful mission to keep it front page. This doesn't go away just because this doesn't go away.
Keep the case front page, but again, the details surrounding it, the accusations, the allegations, the claims, organs being removed, things along those natures. Should the family have to ask you to stop that versus if the information is handed to the family, if you genuinely believe this is the truth and the family has access, the lawyers have access, law enforcement has access, you gave it to all the resources, why does it belong on YouTube?
Well, first of all, right, agreed. Absolutely agreed. I did not, my intention was not to put it there. Whatever my intention was, it failed. So there's that. I do not know that law enforcement shared details. I did not know that. I do not know I do not believe law enforcement has shared with with Bryan's attorneys everything. I tend to believe they have not. And here's the other thing.
I thought you said you had the Ann's.
I gave it to them.
Right, so they have it.
They have it now, but I don't know if they had it prior to that.
Well, wouldn't that be your first step?
I can ask them that all I want, but I'm not. My job. I was given information by an Idaho State Patrolman who should not have shared information.
Correct. He shouldn't have.
He should not have. And so that's where that came from. As far as a parallel crime. I will tell you privately, and I know people hate that, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to share. I can tell you more of that specifically if you want to know privately, but I'm not going to share it publicly. How I know and what I know and what I think that and what I know it has to be. And they could be wrong. They may not solve it this time. They haven't solved it for years. This has been going on for a plethora of years here. This is a problem. So, and as far as the 5 going, and so I just want to step back for 1 second. There were my whole purpose in telling T-Rev that was that this person doesn't get shot for 4, he gets shot for 5. That was where I was coming from. It was not to be dramatic or to cause pain to anybody. It was to make sure whoever did this, whoever they are, pays for 5.
But again, right there.
The kids all know it. The kids already know it.
Well, okay. So if it comes out in the trial that you were wrong,
then I'll say sorry.
But I don't think that's good because the damage is already done. Wouldn't you be?
Here's the thing. Why are they not charging for 5 people?
Because you're not privy to those details, Kim. Okay. I'm not privy to
Idaho,
those details.
Okay.
Are you 100% certain that this victim was, I don't even want to repeat who or what, was pregnant though? How do you know? How do you know that she was pregnant? How could you possibly know that?
Okay, so again, this is one more person that I'm not going to share that until after, but that's what I'll say about that. But my point is, and here's the thing: I believe women are not chattel. My choice is my choice. Your choice is your choice. So let's be clear here before people go crazy on me. If that's your choice, that's your choice. You get it. But in a state that is so willing to annihilate a woman for making a choice and owning her body, guess what? 5, not 4. And I feel sad and broken and heartbroken over that. And I'm not going to share any other details about that. And for T-Rev to do that makes me furious.
Okay.
Because guess what? He had no right to do that. It was incompettent.
But I'm going to circle right back around to you, putting that to the side.
It's my fault.
You shouldn't have given the information. This is why you give information to YouTube creators. And that's not anything against T-Rev. You shouldn't. That is why it doesn't belong on YouTube. What is YouTube going to do? What can we do? Well, yes, we have a platform. Yes, we could get there are things that we can help with. Details like that, there's nothing a YouTube creator can do. So I can understand if you, hey, I have concern. I want these kids to be safe. As a mom, I'm totally on board with everything you expressed regarding that. It's all of the private details and information and wounds and organs and pregnancy. And that is where you lose me and I do not get on board with.
Okay, so so then I guess you come from a place of the last place so I guess come from this place then, if you would give me this grace, is the last time I was on YouTube was fixing my dryer with Peyton and she was 12 and my dryer still works to this day. So that's okay. So I don't know the rest of it and I'm an adult and I'm not stupid. I'm a highly intelligent woman. I run a very successful business. So I get it. I'm not stupid. Am I trusting? I am. I like to trust people. I want to. Lessons learned at other people's expense. I understand that. But my point here is that I trusted somebody who I shouldn't have, looking for answers to do the right thing. And that's the only answer I have for that. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Yes.
Was that email the one and only time you shared those details?
No.
Okay. So it's not about,
only in writing.
Really
it was no. Only in writing. I shared so the extent of the emails, yes. Some of the emails I have shared with people who have kept those to themselves, and I've said, trust me, that and it's not anybody other than some people who should know. No, not to the extent that no. And it was because I trusted, I did, and and that's my bad, and I'll own it. I can't blame anybody but myself. Never again, never. Honestly, I have no other reason. That's why it happened. It's not an excuse, and I feel terrible, and I have expressed that to the family through Olivia. And yeah, I mean, what else? There's nothing else. I can't pedal back. I can't go back. I can just say I'm sorry.
I just can't go back, and I'm not expecting you to go back. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to.
Well, I am sorry. Maybe you
don't need to apologize to me.
I do need to apologize publicly. I need to because those details, and I don't. And I will
but
never.
Did you stop, Kim?
I had to say maybe I should because I should make sure nothing out there is he said anything. I don't know or whatever. I will just say that I believed I was going to a detective who would take me to a place where I could give information that I felt like was relevant. And I don't have people's numbers. I don't even know how to get that or do that.
Wait. Where did she go?
Right? Diego has my phone number. So you could ask him for it. He'll call me.
Oh, pause. What'd you say?
Where did she go? She said, I went to a detective.
Yeah, that detective, remember, who was funneling information to her.
Is she meeting him in the boiler room of the fucking tunnels?
Yes, I always imagine on the side of the highway, but that's my personal envisioned.
God, this shit is wild.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so he read out the email?
Mm-hmm.
You saw it?
She's an idiot. She's a moron.
I know how my phone number. That's how Lana got it. That's how Olivia got it. Right? Call them, they vet you, and then they call me. And there's nothing I can say to ever bring it back. You can't unthrow up.
No, it can't. But moving forward, that's it's.
Would I do it again? Never. No. Would I do it differently moving forward? 100%. Would I start a YouTube channel to teach people how to work with YouTube? If you're just a mom who's not techie, yeah, I would actually. I would. I think that would be purposeful and helpful.
How about not to insert yourself in a mass murder?
So if come trial, it's shown to be Bryan and Bryan alone, and nobody else has charges pressed against them. Nobody else is believed to be involved. Do you think you're really going to accept that as the truth, or are you going to think that there, once again, is some type of cover-up? And let me be clear. I'm very well aware cover-ups happen. I'm very well aware corruption exists. But are you going to be satisfied with what happens, or are you always going to believe, nope, there's something more?
That is a loaded question. So, and it's twofold. It doesn't answer twofold. I will apologize to whomever I hurt. I might be skeptical, but I will trust the jury of his peers to make the right decision, because that is the rest of the law that we live under.
Melissa,
and I don't want to not believe that our laws don't work, that we are corrupt all the way around. I want to believe that the people are smart. I want to trust that. I want to trust my neighbor. So I will accept the verdict, and I will apologize. But I might hold on to, I don't know, but I won't share it with anybody but myself. Even my husband.
My concern is, like I said, with these,
I won't go wild. I will let it go. I would never go against a jury.
Well, with these victims' families,
she's like a boomerang.
If you're saying, like that, they haven't asked, and it implies that they want to hear something, or something along those lines, right? But let's be real. Olivia only speaks to one of the victims' families, right?
Sure.
There are 3 victims, other than that one victim's family, 3 other victims.
Right.
And so it's not just one. They're the family that has been most in the spotlight. But let's put ourselves in their shoes for a second. I don't want anyone to ever be in their shoes. But their child's case is so much in the spotlight. And there are things that don't add up. Now, that doesn't mean come trial that it might make perfect sense. But I can't imagine
she's made more than a salad bar by now.
Searching for those answers harder than the victims' families. And how do you think we would handle, right, the idea that there's these people running around completely convinced something more happened? And do you imagine yourself turning that down? Like, nope, I refuse to look at all aspects. Or do you imagine that they just so desperately want the answers for their child that they don't want to turn anyone away? But that's why I'm saying it is very important to make sure what you're saying is legitimate if it's being speak, because they're how do you expect them to say, no, I don't want to hear anything? They want that damn truth more than anyone. And I don't think they should ever have to be added any more pain than they're already going through if it's something that's hearsay.
Okay, so I agree with that, except, until the next kid dies and it happens again. So that's my thing. I understand that. Steve is the only, because Steve and Kristie and their family are the only ones who are really stepping on the forefront. And everybody else gets to sit in the background and grieve because they have Steve, right? He's their power forward. He's going to win this game for them.
No,
honestly. And I don't think they're taking a pass. I think people grieve differently. Listen, let me qualify it. People grieve differently, right? Everybody does their own thing. I lost a brother when I was younger, and my cousins. I've had cousins like and I watched my aunt and my mom. Everybody grieves differently. I understand that. It's okay. My sisters and I grieve differently. I was a power forward, obviously. My sisters, were,
What are we talking about?
I'm not saying that at all.
I don't even know.
It's okay to let one person take the reins and run with it, and then when he gets tired, to pick up the reins for him. I don't know the Chapins. I don't know what's in their brain. I won't judge them, or Maddie's family or Xana's family. I know that her sister's pretty involved with it and wanting answers, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm not, and their mother, do not judge them. Please don't. I'm just gonna say this really quickly. I'm gonna get off the rails. Their mom, she did the best she could. It's an illness, drug addiction, mental illness, all of it.
Oh God, shut up, Kim.
We love them the same, so I'm just going to say that, no judgment there. I'm just saying that if we don't solve this and another student dies, it's like Sam Martinez, who was in my daughter's primary recruitment class, who was
Who the
died
hell is
during,
Sam Bartitas?
during initiation or Big Little or whatever. He died of alcohol, and now we have Sam.
Okay, that's
which
him.
Is a
That's
great
him.
law in Washington State, but he didn't graduate. He didn't walk with my daughter. Somebody else is going to die. Students have died because of these people since this crime. So I guess my thing is, yes, you are grieving and you have your pain, and we need to solve this now for them, for justice. But we also need to solve it so it stops.
Right,
Justice is
but
not
we
served if
can't.
it does not stop.
We again, YouTube can be used for many great things. It has many benefits, but solving a case of this magnitude, that's why I'm like, if you've given the information to the families privately,
yeah,
that's the ones who are going to advocate the most for these victims. And I can assure you that they're already terrorized by the thought of their child killer not being held accountable. So if there is anybody who is going to get to the truth and to the bottom of it, it's going to be those families. It's not going to be Melissa Jade. It's not going to be T-Rev. It's not going to be anybody on this damn platform. That, again, that doesn't mean you can't utilize the platform for certain things.
Right.
But it's when you come on here and you speculate, you know, and you repeat things, it's many things that you have stated has caused a shit ton of else of speculation and conspiracy to go around it. And it snowballs out of control. And this family has to be overloaded because they're not going to look the other way regarding any possibility. And that's why it's like, don't even they already have a million things on their plate unless it's something really verifiable. Don't put them through this heartbreak, because they see even the time the Joseph Morris released the audio of these murders,
oh my God,
of these kids' last murders. And again, that's what YouTube does. Let me put that out here for some clicks, and that gets to the families. And guess what? They don't want to hear that, but they have to hear it, right? Because they have to know everything, you know. And I just don't agree with what's going on. I don't agree with it at all. And that's not just with you, that's with many creators, and that's why I'm constantly doing debunking, because there's plenty of things you can focus on that doesn't make sense. You could theorize, you could speculate, but it has gone way too far, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say this to you. I live in a cold case every fucking day of my life. I live in one every day of my life. This is not why I'm here. I've never come here. It's been 20 years, well, 15 years. I live in one every day of my life. You can't go back. You can't bring them back, but you can stop that from happening again, because guess what? It happens again. And so I know I understand their pain, but in your pain, you have to keep fighting, because it will happen again. And if your child dies in vain, it's not your fault.
Let them fight. Let them fight. And if
they are
want
fighting,
our help, and if they want our help,
you are underestimating yourself. You are underestimating who you are as a human. Yes, you are.
No. I'm very well aware of what I am capable of. But what I will not do is host things that cannot be verified.
Fair. Totally fair. Totally fair of you. I agree with you there. But you are the power that you possess on YouTube is tenfold. And yes, you should.
Oh,
you should call me out right now. Like what you're doing right now, you should call me up right now. You should, because guess what? People are going to talk, right? They're going to want you to ask more questions. That's the goal. That's the purpose. I can be wrong all day, every day, and I'm willing to be wrong. But you engage me. You keep it there. That's your power. That keeps the pressure on.
No,
it's
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. We have some capabilities with YouTube, absolutely. But
far more than any other media out there. No,
social media there isn't even mainstream media anymore. Things are different.
Yeah,
we live in a different age.
Right.
But there is a line. There is a line. And I think that it's crossed the line.
But okay, fair. And I agree with, and I will take that. And you keep that same boundary too, because I want you to keep that boundary, because that's good. For you to call me out right now, people are expecting us to have a knockdown, drag out, like in the ring fight. But they're not getting that.
No.
Are they? And that is what your power is. I don't want power. I want to say my story. I want to keep this up front. I want justice served. I want this crime on. You'll continue to live another day and do it again, and you'll do it better next time. Well, you're doing it well now. I respect everything about you and everything about your message, and I just want you to know that I am not doing anything to harm anybody, and I want you to respect me back, because my goal is to do this for, I don't know, I guess our world, right? It makes it better. But I'm not staying here. Trust me, you will never hear from me again. Honestly, not even a Christmas card. This is not my comfort place. But you are good at this.
Are you concerned about getting in legal trouble yourself?
No, I don't care. Take me to court.
Well, you may not care, but are you concerned that it may happen?
No, no, not even a little. No, not at all. What are you gonna do? Tell me I'm lying? I'm not there. I've reported everything.
No, you can get defamation and slander libel. You could get a lot of things. As far as the alibi, putting out the 5 people's first and last names, you absolutely can be brought to court.
So consider how many months ago that was, and it hasn't occurred.
Does not matter.
But if it was my kid, it would have occurred.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. So again, just because you do something one way doesn't mean another person does differently, and the court system moves extremely slow. Maybe they are waiting for trial, right, and for it to be proven. Yes. Just because something have you, like you said, has your child received a subpoena or anything regarding a trial that's happened in October 2nd? Right?
No.
What makes you think a defamation or a lawsuit of that nature would be notified?
There's not going to be a trial on October 2nd. That probably is why we haven't. They're probably waiting for a date for trial because he's not going to speak.
She was right.
Ever. We're never going to hear what he has to say. He's never going to tell us the truth. Somebody else is going to have to tell us the truth. That's the fact, right? So if they want to, they can sue me. I stand behind everything I've said as an American citizen, a human being who's been given information, who reported it everywhere and kept it on the front page because 4 children are never going home for Thanksgiving. Sue me. I'll pay you. I mean, if I lose, I'll pay you. I won't lose because I'm not lying. I'm not hurting anybody intentionally. I'm saying I'm calling out 5 boys.
Right. You may not be hurting anybody intentionally, but if you still hurt someone, the damage is still done, right?
But if they don't know anything.
No, the 5 people that were named.
Yes, but they know something. But they know something.
Based on what you heard.
Okay.
Based on what you were told.
Based on what I can do. Yes, okay. Based on what I can say to you and everybody out there. And I would tell you privately because I believe you wouldn't tell anybody, I hope. Now I get a little nervous with that. But I believe you. I do trust you. I believe you. But I'm just saying to you that, okay. And then I'd be brought into court and I would give my sources and I would say, I told you for your own good, your own protection. Nobody's coming at me.
No, but you didn't tell. Again, saying that
these people
were there, these people were involved. That's not. Listen, I could have Shay text me right now and be like, Kim is this, and then I come on and I say, Kim, you're this, and then you sue me. Just because Shay sent me a text saying it doesn't justify at all or minimize me putting it out there.
So with all this going down, wouldn't they have done that by now?
Not necessarily. No.
Okay, so I know it's not everybody's me and not everybody parents like I do. But I would say most parents in that area are similar to me. Like, well, not that way, but they would come at me. Oh, they come at me. I promise you, the kids I know.
Everyone is
their
different.
families would come out. Their families would come at me. They would come at me. And if they do, they do. And I stand behind what I've said, and I apologize for what I've said if I'm wrong, but come at me because I'm just trying to keep you safe for one, because you are not safe alone. Stand together or you are done.
Excuse me, T-Rex. Sorry. Ask him to produce a message because I never, ever, 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 I literally just heard of you recently. I never, ever, 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 ever told him not to fuck with you or like associate with you. So
what? I don't even know what you're saying.
That's completely separate, not anything to do with you. But seriously, I've never spoken to him on the phone, only in messages. So ask him to produce the message. Seriously, that type of crap really pisses me off.
I don't think you. I didn't. So it has nothing to do with me. I didn't.
No, it has nothing to do with you.
I only know of you because I thought, ooh, she got some gumption. I think that you are a gift to this genre.
Thanks, Kim.
And that's not bullshit. It's true. It's fact. You're calling out. I'm good with that. Call me out. And as far as he wants you to. He thinks that what? I'm a little confused. It doesn't matter.
Totally separate thing.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to cause you.
Right, Wolfie? Like, it's amazing how that works.
Who is Wolfie?
I'm not.
Who is Wolfie? Oh, I don't know who that is. I literally, it goes too
highlighted
fast.
Abracadabra. It jumped really quickly. It is, and it's on 60 seconds. Yeah, apparently, Shag. Like, I never, ever, and again, I've never, every communication's documented. I've never once said that. That really upsets me. But that's
I never heard your name on T-Rev either. So
Kim has no idea what I was talking about.
I think I found you. I don't even know how. But I wasn't T-Rev. I mean, he's got a mission. He's got a goal. I wish him the best. I don't hold any ill will towards him. My bad. It was my fault. It wasn't his. That's at the end of the day. I can't blame him. But you did nothing wrong. You just engaged me, invited me up, and listened to me.
And tell it, Ellie. To be fair, I have been stating my opinions on Kim WSU Mom for months, right? People in my chat are most likely going to share my opinions, or else why
Sure.
would they be here? Some
Of
don't
course.
share my opinions, but for the
Sure.
most
100%. Yeah.
Kim came into my chat. Kim
I did.
willingly came on my panel. I have tried to be as respectful as I can. I have reiterated to the chat along with my mods you could argue as far as information, do not take digs. I'm not sitting here, oh, why is she being disrespected? This, that. I'm asking hard questions. I'm stating when I don't agree with someone. I'm not being disrespectful, though. There's a difference. And if at any point Kim doesn't want to be here, she's more than free to leave. I can't control a chat, though, neither can my mods, of 770 people. It's just not possible. All we could do is ask over and over and over again to please don't take digs. Please don't state where someone lives. It's impossible. It really freaking is. But we're doing the best that we can.
And I agree with you. And I think at the end of the day, we all have the same purpose.
She
like,
agreed with me a lot
here.
today.
And so, yes, agreed. So anybody
Mm-hmm.
who's saying that to you, I disagree with them wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. You have been nothing but respectful, and we disagree. And I don't know. I think that we just have different perspectives on it and different ways of going about it. But I respect yours, and I hear
going out
yours,
the window.
and I will take yours under. Like I will probably, everybody's confused a little bit when they find somebody. Everybody's important. Everybody's opinion is important. What people know is important. None of us is perfect, and none of us is right. I wholeheartedly agree. I've made mistakes, and I agree with you. You don't agree with me on everything, and I still stand by some of those things. So I don't want people to come at you.
I wasn't about to have you come on, and I'm not going to change everything I said about you for months prior. I'm going to say it right to you. That's not how I work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This is how I feel. And guess what? You can leave, and we still don't have to agree. It's how I feel. I'm not going to change how I feel.
I 100% agree. And please don't change how you feel because I'm here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I find you to be a plus in YouTube. I don't know that. I think T-Rev could use a little, I don't know.
Well, I don't want to sit here and talk about other creators.
I don't want to talk about him bad, but he shouldn't call you out because you had nothing. He had nothing. He is nowhere.
It was a completely separate. It was a completely separate situation. It had nothing to do with you.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, and I just want everybody to know that don't go at you. That's not fair.
No, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming up here and answering all questions. Like I said, I don't have to agree with your answers, but I appreciate you answering them.
Sure. And I agreed. And the same goes both ways, and the thing is, who knows? Maybe we come to an answer somewhere because we disagreed. I don't know.
Like she's
but I do
shoveling
respect you and I respect your channel. And I think that if you have any questions, I'll answer them. And I don't even know your email or anything, but and I'm tech stupid. So put it in, and then so when something comes up in that I know and I can.
No, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of things that I'll think of. Like I said, if I was prepared, I don't even have my right notebook next to me. But I'm sure there's many things that I'll think of. And I'll go right.
Please do, and I will answer to the best of my ability and privately. And it's not to be coy or to play games with people. It's just there's some things that I shouldn't share publicly. And if you decide you feel like it's okay to share that, I've given that information to you, and I will have to trust you with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would. I think if I could give my advice, don't give anyone any more information as far as YouTube, including me. Do not just give it to the proper resources. But there is nothing, even with the information. Yeah. There's nothing I can do, like unless you're talking about real hard fact receipts that, that's it, it's going to change my whole outlook and I'm going to want to fight for this.
Oh, right.
Then it depends on what we're referring to here. If it's just, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I go by receipts, so unless there's receipts to be shown, I wouldn't.
What's that sound?
Sorry.
What sound? Is it clicking? Is the phone clicking?
No, it sounds like you're ripping paper.
Oh, it does? No, it's the phone. I know I've learned just to sit still when I talk.
One thing Shay said this entire
you're ripping paper. I was like, it's getting loud.
That's weird.
You were like spraying Lysol or something like shh. That's what it sounds like.
No,
meaning.
No. Oh, that's funny. No, not doing that.
Oh no, that's funny.
It was clicking. Probably.
I'm just cutting my lines of cocaine. That's what it sounds like. Like she's Pablo Escobar style, like taking a rake and literally like cutting her lines and I imagine like a massive pool noodle style to snort these lines. You know what I mean? Like
dude.
It's massive.
It is, man.
Like a snow shovel to get the lines, like and you take like a jumbo pool noodle
Like, it's been the entire interview. And the more you hear it, the faster she talks, man. It's fucking nuts.
It's
The
wild.
one thing you said that entire interview, 4 hours in. What's that sound?
It was weird. I was like, what is going on, man?
What's that sound? Sorry.
That's all right. That's funny. Actually, that's really funny.
Louder.
Because it happened the other night. It happens quite a bit. I think
Yeah,
it's just
it
my phone
helps
gets
quite a
hot and
bit. She wipes her nose.
Well, it's got a mind of its own. No, really, I'm directing the phone. I'm not fooling anybody, right? I will, and I will say to both of you, thank you for giving me an opportunity. And truly, call me, and then I will tell you.
Oh, thank you, Dago.
Oh, I did. Dago just called me, so I'm going to call him right back.
Yeah, he was trying to get. I just found Dago
call.
recently because Jules always talks about him. He's been really nice.
I adore Dago. So I found Dago and CJ through gosh darn it, I don't want to say her name out loud, but I'll dox golf court something golf club. I cannot remember it. I'm not going to say it out loud.
Inspector Channel?
Yeah, that's her. Yes, she has been a great she's a kind person. Most people here are like Jules always is like coming at me, and I'm fine with that. Come at me because if I'm wrong, then let's figure it out. Let's
Come at me, bro.
So nobody else dies. That's really the goal.
Well, I think people just have questions, and everybody wants to, get down to the truth. And I think we just gotta, be careful about it. And I think you see how vast and far YouTube can reach. And I hope
it's
you're concerned.
insane.
Yeah, I hope you're concerned for, your kids and being safe at school and stuff. Those are things that you can advocate for at the campus. And I sure hope it's not anything more than what we've heard so far in this particular case, but I do appreciate you answering stuff. And the only thing I was going to mention to you though was like you mentioned having a relationship with Drunk Turkey Show Daniel. I mean, if you haven't, I mean, maybe you could ask for some advice or something from him when it comes to how the other parents may feel. I know he's not a spokesperson for Kristie Goncalves, but he's talked to her, and so maybe just kind of getting a little bit of a gut check. I don't know if that would help you at this point, but that's just something in my mind.
And and I agree with you, and I have, and so, and we're, I think he's been, Daniel, I love Daniel, but I think that he's smart. He is, I have, and I'm not sure where Kristie is with him because I've never spoken to them, only with Olivia and through Olivia, and done what they've said. But I think that, I can't say it. He's a great guy. That's what I'm going to say.
I think she just got, well, like I said, at this point, I think the information is out there. The information is to who it needs to be to. There's nothing, at this point, I said, I think she just got wet. Did you see how, serious and that was the first time she slowed down in 4 hours. I already did, and I don't want to. I really like him. Yeah, he's a good guy. Oh, okay, that was uncomfortable. I don't know why your entire demeanor shifted, but okay. Strange.
I'm a little freaked out by that.
Yeah, right? But I do agree that you can absolutely to advocate for kids, to advocate for this to never happen again. That's never something negative. That's something that could absolutely be used in a positive manner, and I'm all for that.
Right. Good. I agree. Right. And yes. Right. And yeah. And I hope that. Anything else I'm going to say now, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth because
then just don't. Oh,
I'm not going to. Then I'm not going to. Probably why Dago called me okay, you're good, girl. That's good.
Did you hear my present self and my past self said it at the same time?
I did. I was like, wow.
I almost got offended. Hey, to my past self, don't steal my thought. Damn, nothing's changed.
It hasn't.
No. Fucking past self is a bitch.
That's enough, right? So, but I will absolutely have a private conversation with you both, and I apologize to everybody else. But sometimes, you know, it's like believing in Santa Claus. Sometimes you gotta wait. I know that's a terrible analogy, but it's true.
Listen, I'm well aware that that type of stuff happens all the time. A lot of people think because I don't want to say I don't think a lot of the narratives that are out there are true, but they just because I'm debunking things, that means that I'm closed-minded and like my channel started as a conspiracy channel. I'm very well aware of corruption and cover-ups and conspiracies that are out there, but that doesn't mean it's always that case. And when there is something like that happening, there's always a trail and there's always evidence and there's always proof. And so it's a true crime community. People ask for receipts. You have to have receipts to back up what you're saying, because your words mean nothing. You know, if there's anything you can show me is that everyone's a liar. You know, that's just the truth. Everyone lies.
It is everybody's a liar, right? And you believe everybody. And you don't even have to look like you. Honestly, and I saw that when they're saying that poor woman. What if they'd all gone to her house like they wanted to? I'm like, whoa, no, you can't. This is me. She's not pretending to be me. I am actually me. They actually were saying that this woman, this lovely woman, I'm sure she's lovely, no clue who I am, was pretending to be actually me. So it's scary. I don't want somebody to get hurt on my behalf because, it was horrifying actually to think about. This is, so, well. Thank you for letting me come up, ladies.
Yep. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, and I will follow you. I will sub.
You don't have to.
And we will. You know what the thing is? Here's the thing. We may disagree, but I don't dislike you, and I respect you. So,
I appreciate that. No, thank you for coming up.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
Okay. And so she ended up threatening me. She ended up leaving me really bad threats, like highly over the line threats. And she, moral of the story, she ended up not liking me.
She went real life on you.
She did. She went real life on me. And I never acknowledged it because, what the fuck's the point? But she did not end up liking me the same way that when she came up, she was like, I love that you always correct my spelling, and like, I'm not even mad about it. Like whenever I say the wrong you're, like, actually, I really like that about you. And then in the same threatening comment she left me, she came at me for always correcting her spelling. And I was like, hey, I thought you liked that. Like you're a liar. You sit on the throne of lies, ma'am. But yeah, no, she's one crazy bitch. And this interview, like, if you aren't familiar with what she was doing, you really don't understand the interview, which, it's not your fault. But like, if you knew what she was saying on these panels, and then like compared to what she said on mine, like, no, this was as grounded as you'd ever see her. It was bad. She was bad. The same way she's like, oh, Dago just called me. Yeah, I didn't realize until after he was blowing her up in a panic in the Discord saying, you need to get off Melissa Jades right now. Because they wanted to continue to run with the bullshit. But once you slow down and actually ask hard questions, you're really showing she's an idiot. And the creators didn't want that because they made money from it.
Right.
But this is how we found Harlot. We found Harlot from the Idaho case, and it's been happily ever after.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Were you a mod at this point, Harlot? Because I thought about that hours ago when I said, don't give my mods a hard time. I'm like, I wonder if Harlot was a mod yet. She never did, Miriam. Now she's, bouncing around the Sebastian Rogers case because it really slowed down after Bryan waived his right for a speedy trial.
Yeah, she went off into a deep one.
Have you, I haven't because I haven't had time, but have you like just gone out there and looked at other channels like the Kohbergers and seen what are they saying?
Yeah, a little bit. One of them,
what are they saying?
So like I know, well, it was like a little bit ago, but it was when the alternate suspects stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
Our girl that we were watching a little bit in the Delphi, that gets wild on this case was posting some stuff
Oh
on her
God.
wall. And it was like the thing I saw floating around where they basically found this like group that they believe are the actual killers and they were involved in some drug something. And that was floating around quite a bit.
Yeah. She comes up in my feed a lot with some crazy posts, but like I'm like, where are you getting this from? Like, you can prove other shady shit happens and crimes happen, but how do you correlate it to the murders? I don't understand.
Yeah. It's something I've never seen before. It's wild.
But what are they saying against like the Amazon and the what are they saying about everything? Oh my God, it's insane. One is claiming the actual car was green and the police changed it to white in all the videos. Daryl, are you serious?
No way.
I don't know. Are you supposed to be on Discord? What? I don't know, Harley.
All right, let me go to the Kohberger group.
You stop it. Thank you for being your beautiful self, Natasha.
Yeah, they
not a Shay.
What?
Sorry. I just feel like Harlan has always been a mod, but apparently she hasn't been. And she wasn't there yet then.
What?
She wasn't a mod yet then at that point. But it feels like you have in my heart. Just know that. God, that's crazy.
It's wild. Yeah, so I'm sending you, this is one that's floating in like one of the big Kohberger Reddit forums. That's about the green. It has some details. There's like orbs of light and transparent cars.
Oh gosh. Here we are.
This is from the Power, I think this is the group where that Powerpuff Girls thing came from. Remember?
Oh my goodness, I remember.
Yeah, it's grown a little bit since the
That's what she said. Who do you think first said that's what she said?
I don't know.
I don't think we'll ever know. And do you think it was specific? Like she was very specific? Like that's what she said, meaning like Rachel.
I think so.
Yeah. She said.
That's what she said. I mean,
that's what she said. So, you know.
No.
Guys, the car, and this is from Jelly Garcia, so you know it's legit. Guys, the car is not white, silver, or green. It's stop. It's clear. I love you, Natasha. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
So she says, new video shows car resembling Bryan Kohberger's around the time of the Idaho murders. Obtained by Dateline is among the evidence that investigators believe traces movements around the time that they were killed. So a quote's added around investigators believe, because how could they believe that? How could anyone drive around a car that's not even made of a solid matter? What?
Weird.
What? Shay.
Yeah.
They don't think it's a solid matter?
Yeah, like there's like apparently like on a different post. It says the state's case seems to be heavily relying on blurry pictures of alleged white cars. Keep in mind, night infrared cameras record in black and white. The cars they are showing as the suspect car may not even be white. Think about common security and ring cameras. Nighttime shows all colors and shades from white to black. Not to mention all the pictures of the suspect car that I've seen have all been taken at night. Everything looks noir and shades of black and white and gray recorded on night cameras. Would it be something if the defense can prove that the car the state keeps claiming is BK's car is not even white? If they can, then that would prove it is not BK driving around the King house at that time of night. Then the state's case just might be over at that point. In my opinion, case dismissed. Time will tell.
The audacity of this. What does she not do people not understand that this is very pixelated crap camera footage, like that when you catch it in motion it does weird things? My god, have you ever even looked at your face at self-checkout? Like, come on. What do you think you're gonna see?
It's wild.
That's it, he's innocent.
Some people still really follow the 4chan theory. A lot of people go back to that. Yeah.
No, there's not any really evidence in his defense, and they should be focusing on, right, an alternative perpetrator, an alibi, but they can't produce either, which makes you have to ask, okay, if he's not the guy, right, not only is there a bunch of damning evidence that points to him, he doesn't have anything that doesn't point to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it
Oh
was.
my god.
What?
You're gonna like this one. This is them trying to figure out what may have caused injuries to Kaylee's face. It's not funny. It is just interesting.
Okay.
Because they are referring their theory back to Linda Lane, what they think audio they hear. Linda Lane footage audio.
Wait, are you about to do something?
Oh, I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Sorry, I'm just doing it that way because it's a little bit easier. And you'll see what I'm saying. Sorry. A little bit wild.
Shay,
read, legitimately read it.
I'm going to.
This is a conversation.
Okay.
Some people think there was actually a gun, even though there are no gunshot.
Okay, let's do it. Oh yeah, I remember the parachute. Yes. So, a beanbag gun vacuum. Just thinking, this looks like a vacuum hose with an attachment. Sounds like the Linda Lane gun and can bruise and break bones in a face. I have no idea what this is.
A beanbag gun.
I still don't know what that means.
I don't know. It's just weird. But they think they hear a gun in the Linda Lane video audio, and that's what they think would injure. It's wild.
People are saying they don't think Dylan saw
the vacuum type object. It's just weird. Thank you for this post. This has a lot of credence with me.
Oh my god.
Which throws a big hatchet and then, oh god.
Someone is cocking a gun in the Linda Lane.
That's what they're claiming.
A missing towel to wipe shoes, wrap around a knife. Okay. I honestly, sometimes I'm concerned for humanity and the fact that, no, we coexist with idiots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right. Well, I want to do what's out there type of live, but I'm so excited for tomorrow night for Dateline. So we'll do a reaction and take notes. That's what we used to do for the earlier Datelines. Watch it, take all of the notes of what happened, and then come live and discuss it for anyone who doesn't get to watch it. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I would love to actually see what people are talking about after that, because I'm sure that'll stir up some buzz too.
Hell yeah. So we'll be back at some point this weekend, guys, and we're going to discuss tomorrow night. It's on, was it Discovery? No, Dateline. I'm sorry. It's on Dateline, 2 hours, 9 p.m. Eastern. Can you? Yeah, you could go to dateline.com and even watch it, right?
Yeah, it might just take a couple days, and then I think eventually Don't they post them on their YouTube?
Yeah, usually. Well, sometimes. I don't
They
know.
do. They do. They might delay it like a week or so. You know.
Yeah. I'm
But they
so
usually
excited.
do.
I need to know everything.
I'm really curious too. Actually, I am kind of interested in wanting to hear like Howard Bloom's book. Like I know what I'm gonna get with his theatrics, but I'm just kind of curious like what maybe I watch the Dateline first, then listen to the audiobook to see if there's more of that is being fed from one area, you know?
Yeah. I
Because I
mean,
just find it fun. All the sources are similar.
yeah. Well, you listen to the book and you tell me if there's anything interesting because I'm not listening to it. I'm
I
not listening
will.
to it.
Eventually, I will. I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything.
I'm just like in trial overload right now. So
With Karen Reed.
yes, absolutely. It's my day and night, and then it's Kohberger on the side.
It's good. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's different. It's different, but it's good.
Is it looking good for her or no?
I mean, who's to say? I mean,
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of good things that, in my opinion, I think that have been hammered home on both sides. But um, yeah, I mean, it's a good trial. It's not like the first one, so it's like basically like they're narrowing the amount of witnesses, Melissa, but it's also like a really good setup for impeachment. So you don't have as many like surprise moments. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
is really good. You are learning stuff and it's awesome. But knowing what everybody went through in the first trial, like you kind of expected that like on crack, like with this one. And just to see a different approach with a different lead prosecuting attorney, it's wild.
Interesting. How much longer is left?
Oh well, the prosecution still hasn't rested, so I mean, I think
Okay.
at least another month. But it's usually all day. Like Bev will normally do like half days on Fridays because that's the judge, because she goes out to like the Cape or whatever or something's the joke. But
Oh, well, la-di-da.
yeah, and but yeah, no, it's a really interesting trial and a lot of crazy stuff's like happening with it, and um, yeah. I'm really interested in it. And then right after this one ends, like then the Kohberger stuff's gonna pick up.
I
It's just gonna
know.
be insanity.
I am ready. Ready. And I hope like there's some type of schedule because I want to at least stream some of it. There ain't no way I could stream it though every day, just not possible. But sometimes here and there I'd like to be able to stream it. But either way, I'll be on like every fucking night to do the recaps and to have the discussion on it. And this is going to be months. Like even covering it, it's like, oh my God, this is months long, like it's gonna be a big investment. But I'm ready, like I'm freaking ready.
I am too. I really want to see the witness list.
Oh yeah.
I'm so curious. Like I really am. And I don't know if we'll get that before.
I don't think so.
Mm.
Not unless right the days before, right after jury selection, maybe.
Yeah. It's gonna be wild. I bet a lot of people are gonna, be down there in Boise, like trying to get coverage of it.
I would love to go for even just one day. And I'm thinking about it, like not that one day would be worth it, but like just for me, my experience. And I know the beginning, I would hit the second month because the beginning is going to be packed. The end is going to be packed, but nobody could stay for it's 3 months, guys. So I'm like, my best bet to get in is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I love Seven Lilies. The Ray Liotta. I love that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. But,
well,
all right.
I'm gonna crash. Thank you. Good night.
I
love you.
We will talk to you guys soon. Watch the Dateline tomorrow. We will be on this weekend to give a recap and a discussion.
Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you, mods. You guys are the best, and we will see you all soon.
Night.
Night.